Um, I'm actually feeling pretty hyped so far. We got a pretty good turnout here for today with some pretty good teams that I think are going to make some very interesting matches. I don't know if you've already mentioned it, but we are going to be starting off here with Loaded Diaper versus Velocity.
Yeah, definitely an interesting matchup we have here. Velocity, some of you guys might know it as, the winners of Low Ink March just a few months ago, and they've been rising quickly in the scene. I believe you said earlier, Weave, that they took 2 games off of Sonder in last night's Proving Grounds, which certainly no small feat.
Definitely a lot, especially since Sonder, very strong team, ended up taking Proving Grounds, in the entire thing home. But Loaded Diaper is not a team, or at least a pickup, to be reckoned with. You got some really strong players. You've got Assist on there, Ali, I believe Vera as well, and so that's going to make for a very interesting match. A strong pickup versus a team that's been proving themselves a lot recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a great set, and we're going to start things off here. First set of SEC Season 7 on Rainmaker Manta Maria, one of the more recent additions to the game that came in, I already forgot what it's called, the season that happened before Sizzle season.
Well, wait, has it been that long? Actually?
Yeah, it's been 3 months of Manta being in the game.
That's insane. My sense of time is completely broken. Okay, because it was Humpback. Wow, I really thought that Manta was only in the game for 2 weeks. That's crazy. Not true. Manta is a newer edition, but it's a very welcome one. Very fun on most of the map modes. It's crazy how some of the most mediocre maps in 2 have become some of the best in 3.
Funny limited options, and I mean, one of the limited options is present here on Rainmaker because it can be extremely snowbally. Typically the more respected Manta modes are going to be on zones and clans, but Rainmaker, once that snowball starts rolling, it can really get intense here. We might just see just that as we head into the first game here of SAC Season 7 between Loaded Diaper and Velocity.
We see a classic ballpoint coming out, one of the staples of this current meta that we're in, but on the side of Velocity, they're opting to run a ZNF Charger, which is not something we see very often, accompanied by Octobrush, not also a typical choice, and the Zap, which has been seeing a lot of use lately because of the Cooler's recent buff.
Yeah, Grey Zap has definitely been rising in the recent meta, and we see Sam already going for that tactical loaded up with that Charger. Dead immediately, Gallon's dead as well. 3 dead on the side of Velocity, and Loaded Diaper quickly taking up the charge. Is just that Octobrush left alone, trying to just defend the juice, but that's going to be a pincer coming out from all of Loaded Diaper as they cleanly take that first checkpoint.
A Loaded Diaper R3 down. It's only Ali left in the bunker, and it does look like she is going to be backing off a little bit, trying to hold the space that's there, getting the jumps in for her teammates. And now it's still holding the Rainmaker on that right side as they broke that right check, and continuing to keep the pressure up. 96 out does go down, and Velocity are getting back on their feet, pushing back out into mid.
Yeah, Velocity are desperately trying to, prevent Loaded Diaper from grabbing that Maker again because, I mean, it could be kind of like that. Now the Rainmaker is reset, but Loaded Diaper still has a ton of control. Beautiful snipe coming out from Sylphie there on to Ali, and that's going to be, 2 dead on Loaded Diaper. That's going to be Velocity's chance to pick up the Rainmaker. They're going to take it through cut, going to get that clean first checkpoint, but a lot of Velocity is dead. Sylphie struggling to get the dunk, and they're actually going to be stopped by Loaded Diaper just before they can get that checkpoint.
Just a little bit more paint and that checkpoint would be gone, but they are unfortunately going to have to fight all that control back as the Kraken goes out, buying Loaded Diaper a lot of space. Abysmal is going to have to jump out, and the rest of Velocity is kind of crowded in their street.
Yeah, and I mean, we see Assist only adding on the pressure more and more with that ballpoint. Rainmaker is going to reset once again, but Velocity still has a checkpoint to go through, so the advantage is decidedly in Loaded Diaper's favor, and you can just see how far back Velocity's pushed. All the specials are coming out from Loaded Diaper. Here comes Abysmal on this Octobrush, trying to make some magic happen with that Zipcaster. Taunting for the ballpoint, but it's getting a little bit caught out and gets taken down. 2 dead on the side of Velocity. 3 dead is just the Charger alive, and Loaded Diaper is prepared for a massive push now that the first checkpoint is down.
Here's that snowball you were talking about up here, and not going to quite be the knockout that we were expecting there. But Loaded Diaper is still very much in their plat. Not anymore as it's only that 96 gal. The 96 gal does go down, but that is going to be something that is incredibly hard to come back for. They're going to wait for the Rainmaker to reset, it looks like, because they did solidly get a wipeout, but they still have an entire checkpoint to get through, and then on top of that, they have to get a full knockout in order to take the game home.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Velocity needs to get a knockout to take this game, and they don't even have that first checkpoint down, but The one advantage is they do have LVE in their favor should they be running it, so maybe some extra bomb spam can help, but so far it's not doing Velocity any favors. There are 2 dead once again, and Loaded Diaper confidently walking back into mid. Here comes Vera with the Zuka. Doesn't even need it to get that pick on that charger. It's just going to go down to the power of friendship, I guess, and Loaded Diaper making another, you know, full-on frontal assault here.
Yeah, it looks like they're really not slowing down at all, just trying to keep the aggression up as basically in Rainmaker, a really important thing is just keeping going, just keep putting that pressure on, because when you're pushing, the other team isn't going to be. You are going to see 2 down though, but this Kraken is going to clean things up, getting 1 pick and possibly getting the 2nd pick, otherwise just putting a ton of pressure on, making it so Velocity just can't push forward like they need to. They have a minute and a half left to make this happen.
Yeah, Sylphie is able to get that pick on that 96 after, you know, the Kraken, which is certainly nice, but it's still a bit of a bloodbath, and right now Velocity can't afford to take some trades. They need to start winning some of these team fights. Beautiful pick onto assist there by Sylphie, gonna get things started for them. Velocity has to make control. They are juiced up, and they need to start making this push happen. That first checkpoint needs to fall expeditiously. Velocity wants a chance in this game, and there we go. Sylphie is able to break through, but they're 2 dead. Not gonna be able to keep any more pressure. We do see one behind the side of Loaded Diaper, I think, trying to fight for their life. Sam trying to get this pop and trying to get any control possible, but Loaded Diaper holding strong here in this team fight.
Yeah, it is. Tides may start to be turning though, as I say that one of the members of Velocity does go down. Rainmaker is still being held here. It has to be picked up now, unfortunately for it to not be reset, and it does get immediately taken down by the Kraken. Kraken ends up getting 2, ton of value. Now Velocity only has like 30 seconds left to get all the way to 1 point, and they're still kind of stuck in mid. They don't have much momentum under their feet, and with their charger plane going down, don't see that changing anytime soon.
That was a beautiful Zuka from Vera there to get that charger, and they are going to jump out, keep themselves alive a little bit, but that is going to give Velocity the chance to regain some mid control, but they still have quite a ways to go to get back to that Rainmaker. Here comes Loaded Diaper, pushing up expeditiously. Ballpoint, though, gets a little bit greedy, goes down a little early. 10 seconds left until overtime here. That Rainmaker is popped, and in the hands of Velocity's charger, Sylphie is going to be trying to make some magic happen, going for that knockout, but they have one hell of a mountain to climb. Let's see what they can do. Overtime horns are blaring. The team is all juiced up, ready to go, but they can't afford to take the trades that Tacticooler really wants to provide. And the Rainmaker is being shot at, and that's going to be Sylphie going down to the shot, and Loaded Diaper takes game 1.
Yeah, really strong game. We did see Velocity get a few good pushes under their feet, but nothing as explosive as Loaded Diaper was able to maintain. And as we all know, explosiveness is the name of the game in Rainmaker.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just every push can just be so cataclysmic, especially when you have a team as aggressive as Loaded Diaper. And I feel like, you know, Loaded Diaper is just operating at such a faster pace, you know, that was allowed by the ballpoint, as opposed to, you know, the more methodical approach to comp that Velocity had with the charger. So a bit of a clash in, you know, ideas of pace in the game, but it seemed to favor Loaded Diaper, especially in a mode as fast as Rainmaker. But with that said, we're going to be moving on to another fairly fast map mode here as we get onto game 2 on Clam's Mako Mart. Weave, what are some of your thoughts on this stage?
I mean, it's certainly fast as well, but you might see this charger come back out. Well, what's something interesting I do want to note is that there's a bit of it feels like a little bit of a dissonance in Velocity's comp, running that the Gray Zap with the Cooler along with the Charger, where the Charger isn't going to get too much value out of that, and with Cooler you really have to build your comps around every single weapon getting as much value as possible. I mean, you do get the value while you're carrying the Rainmaker, as the Charger often was, but it was just a little bit of distance, and I'm still going to be interested if we're going to see the return of the Cooler, or if they're going to get something out that's going to help them get in a little bit more easily.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like the Cooler and the Charger are 2 good ideas, but I'm not sure how well they mix together, because I feel like if you run a Cooler weapon and you want a backline, I feel like you almost always want a Splatling just to be supercharging that mobility. But here we go, game 2. That Gray Zap might be going away here. Yeah, it's going to be going away. Sam picking up that V-Splash instead, going for some crab power. Vera switching off that V-Shot, though, onto the Carbon Roller with a different form of Zuka pressure, this time with some extra sharking power, so we'll see how that plays out for Loaded Diaper here.
No, nature is healing. There's only one crab in this match. It's still going to be definitely a game-changing special, just without how much space it can hold, but it does also have to have the chance to get that special, and with how fast Loaded Diaper is moving in and taking space, it doesn't look like they're really going to have the chance to deploy that.
Yeah, exactly. Very even start so far. I mean, numbers advantage slightly in velocity, but all Loaded Diapers starting to respawn. Sam goes down a little bit early, still has not been able to build up a single crab here. Assist getting a beautiful pick while on that ballpoint, and just doing a great job of controlling these stacks. And Loaded Diaper, 2 dead, ballpoint, and the Carbon trying to push up on, put pressure on the left side here. And we do see some members of Velocity trying to push in that way, but meantime, Loaded Diaper just has a lot of control over this right side. Crab finally is going to come out, but it's going to get pushed away by the strikes, and Ali going for that dunk with the power claim and is able to get it.
Yeah, so much explosiveness, like we said before, from the side of Loaded Diaper. Kraken going out and just buying them so much space. Trade going out on the field right under that basket. And it doesn't look like Loaded Diaper is going to be able to make too much else happen in this push, but they certainly are making a statement in how fast they can move and how fast they can just gain control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole name of the game of that push was just Loaded Diaper did an amazing job of getting control of the enemy stat and therefore the entire right side of the map, and that extremely limited where Velocity could push back in. But I mean, we're gonna have to see if Velocity can try to make that happen in their own way. 2 numbers advantage in the favor of Velocity. 3 down the side of Loaded Diaper is just Ali on this T-Tech, dancing around trying to stay alive for as long as possible to get the teammates back in. And here come 2 of them here, Vera and Assist, trying to just drop into mid a little bit. Vera's going to drop in a bit of a sticky situation as Assist tries to find some picks, is able to get an assist on Sylphie there.
Yeah, 3 players down on the side of Velocity, but they are getting a push, and they do actually end up taking the lead. It's not a super stable one, and I'm sure Loaded Diaper is going to have a quick and a methodical response to this and get the lead back right on their, right lickety split. But it certainly was a good statement for them, and it probably bought them some confidence that I'm sure they needed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nice little lead, just puts on a little bit of pressure, but we already see how Loaded Diaper is responding in a big way. 2 down, but there's a bloodbath by the tower. It goes in favor of Velocity, able to stop all of that pressure. It's 2 versus 2. That ball might die, but no, here comes Vera to save it, gets the ball and gets the lead for their team. Loaded Diaper back in the lead, but it's a fragile one at that. Another power claim is going to stop it unless they can get more clans in, and that's looking incredibly unlikely as Velocity finally has some wind in their sails, pushing forward with a lot of aggression here. That 52 gal trying to hold as much space as possible, trying to create space for that Octorush to have pressure. And here comes the Whales, gets the pick on Ali on that T-Tag. Vera's trying to find a point of entry, but there is none available. Sam gets that power clam in, and that's another lead for Velocity, and they're trying to extend it a little bit with these little clams, and they have so much clam economy on their side right now.
Velocity, or Loaded Diaper got the lead back a minute ago, but at what cost? If this is what the cost is, it may not have been the right play, allowing Velocity to get completely in, giving them the pity to potentially even jump in if they have the chance. It's going to be the push over, but it's going to be one it's the first real push we've seen this game, and I'm actually not sure if Loaded Diaper is going to be able to respond super well to that.
I mean, I would imagine they have at least some sort of shot because, Clams Mako just moves at such a breakneck pace, but already they're struggling here in this team fight. Ali's going to go down. Inkjet is going to find the assist, but that's 2 dead on the side of Loaded Diaper. Ballbring's going to land in an uncomfortable spot, gets taken out by the Octorush. 3 dead on the side of Loaded Diaper. It's just this Carbon left. Ali just respawned, and the 96 just respawned as well. Abysmal trying to make some magic happen, gets the trade on Vera, but that's a trade that Velocity will certainly take here as the ball, is quite a ways away from that basket, and Loaded Diaper really struggling to move forward at this point in the game.
Specials being used left and right, both the Tri-Strikes and the Kraken being pushed out to create space and eventually allow Loaded Diaper to get a push started. But with 2 players down, this ballpoint being pushed back and the Carbon all on their own, it's only the ballpoint left alive. There's going to be no follow-up in that push, only going to be that original power clam. That is going to be not what they need in order to get a lead back, and Velocity is already right back in their base with another push. It may not be a long one, but it's certainly something that, they're starting to gather points up and just keeping Loaded Diaper as, as far back as they can to just ensure this game is going to be over soon.
Yeah, and Abysmal trying to take some resources away, gets the pick on, I believe, the 96 gal. Beautiful job by Abysmal there in that Zipcaster. Gets another pick on the T-Tech there, and the ballpoint is going to be hunting for them. Abysmal got so much more value than they ever expected, and all of a sudden, Loaded Diaper's time to make a push is gone. They have to go as soon as possible, and the clam economy is not in their side whatsoever. 20 seconds of overtime left, and that's just going to be a ball jump, probably coming in at 4 Velocity, and that's going to be game 2. Great response by Velocity there as we go to a winner-take-all game 3.
Very, very scrappy game there. The only long-standing push we saw at all was from Velocity, and definitely a different game. They were definitely able to get on their feet much easier, and I think without that cooler, they did end up having a much more balanced comp that ended up working pretty well in their favor.
Yeah, Velocity's comp in this second game was very much about, control with the double splash walls on the 52 and the Charger, the tri-strikes, corral people and push them away, the crowd pressure to, continue to do that a little bit. I feel like everything just came together a little bit better for Velocity, and they were slowly able to chip down Loaded Diaper's defense until they were finally just able to break past it. And once they could, Loaded Diaper struggled to break the defensive Velocity right back. So, we see the comp that Velocity has really coming into its own here, showing why they're such a strong team. And just like that, we're going to be going to a Game 3 on Zone's Inkblot. Weave, what are some of your thoughts on this stage?
Well, I'm excited, first off, but this is going to be one that I feel like the Charger player on Velocity is going to have a much easier time on, since there isn't as much need to move up past the, past the objective. In fact, it can be kind of detrimental at some points if you overextend here in zones compared to something like Clanblitz or Rainmaker, where your entire goal is to get as far in as possible. So I feel like Velocity has a pretty strong chance of taking this home, taking the, the mini reverse sweep.
Yeah, Sylphie definitely put on a lot of pressure. Made some great snipes in that game one. We might see a few more of those things, especially on, the safety of that Inkblot plat. Not a whole lot of ways to, get onto it. It's just that ungradable or that uninkable slick area, which is so tricky to push through if you don't have any sort of, wipeout advantage. But conversely, if you can get that wipeout and you get onto the enemy plat, it can be devastating. So we might just see something like that here. Both these teams trying to bring the pain here in this Game 3. They're going to be sticking on that carpet, but we see the Anarchy Nova coming out, and I believe an E-Leader as well. Very radically different comp from Loaded Diaper here.
Yeah, making up for the lack of Inkjet, which is a very powerful special right now, they're bringing out the Anarchy Nova as they swapped out for an E-Leader. It seems that, Loaded Diaper, too, understands how important it can be to have a Charger on this map, how well they can do. Maybe also looking to counter the Splatter Scope as well.
Yeah, but Loaded Diaper had a pretty awkward rollout there. We saw a few of the members drop in a bit unnecessarily. Ali went down early, Vera dropped a little bit early, and that caused Velocity to get an easy cap of the zone, and all of a sudden Velocity on the enemy flat here. Visible just sharking, waiting for a good time to use that Zigcaster. Here we go. Gets a trade, but that's a trade that Velocity will certainly take all the way to the bank, because Variable, though, that could, explain some of the confusion that happened. It seems like we're potentially getting back into it.
Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch are still into it, and Velocity is nearing the 30-point mark with very little to show for Loaded Diaper. Their tri-strikes do go out, but without much fanfare. Almost no follow-up on that. Zone is starting to get painted a little bit pink, and they are starting to push in with one pick going down onto the Octoroth and the Eater taking up a great defensive spot. But things are still not looking super great, and there still is contestation on the zone. Tri-strikes going out from the green team. That is going to be Loaded Diaper getting the cap, though, buying themselves one last chance to get back into this.
Yeah, Loaded Diaper finally gets that cap. Definitely an awkward game so far. Some curious things happening, but Velocity's definitely been capitalizing on it heavily. And here comes another crab tank. Zuka's going to come out, though, from Vera here. Is able to find a pick on that Oxbridge. Gal's going to go down as well. Crab Tank's expired, and that Charger is going to be hunted down by Zon with his Inkjet. Not able to get a pick, but providing so much pressure in pushing Loaded Diaper back, or in pushing Velocity back, and that allows Loaded Diaper to get onto the enemy plat. And Vera on this carbon roll is going to be putting on a ton of pressure here, as Loaded Diaper starting to encroach on that lead just a little bit. Tri-Strike's going to come out onto the zone here just a little bit from Velocity, trying to get some paint down. Whale's going to come out, and that's going to be 2 dead for Loaded Diaper. Velocity starting to collapse in on them. 3 dead is just Ali, and that's going to be the zone back in Velocity's favor.
Some weird tri-strike behavior going on here. This lobby is a little bit jank, but what else do you expect from this game? It was looking very... Yeah, oh my goodness. This interesting game, but once we saw that Eater get set up on the side of Loaded Diaper in mid, things are looking really, really scary for Velocity, so they're really gonna have to hope to hold on for the rest of this game and get that KO, or things could start looking real hairy for them.
Yeah, Tri-Strikes are finally starting to act a little bit as normal here as we get, into, or towards the last 2 minutes of this game here. Loaded Diaper does have that zone cap, but they have a ways to go before they get that lead, but curiously enough, once Loaded Diaper gets the lead, they'll be in serious threat of knocking out, so it's a really volatile game at this point, as Splat Zone so often is, and Velocity's trying to slowly push back in. This next team fight is going to be crucial here. Here come those tri-strikes coming out from Velocity, but the Carbon is going to, Vera's going to get that beautiful pick onto Sylphie. That's exactly an amazing dominant need to fall. 3 down of velocity with that inkjet pressure. It's just the Octobrush left alive. Abysmal trying to fight their way back into mid, but Loaded Diaper is through with their penalty. They're dangerously close to this lead. Still think it's again. Beautiful snipe from Assist there on top mid. That's the lead in favor of Loaded Diaper. We're getting close to this knockout. It's just Abysmal on this Octobrush left. That's the wipeout, and that's going to be the knockout. Loaded Diaper takes the set 2-1 over Velocity.
Loaded Diaper never really faltering there, even when they were down, even when they were down to 9 points left on the clock. Never giving up, always going back into the zone with a lot of patience and a fist bump as a reward there. Super. Great games. We really saw Velocity do well, but that counter pick onto Uther I think was absolutely phenomenal. Did such a good job of keeping Velocity back that entire game.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful play by Loaded Diaper there. You know, they went down very early. You know, Velocity got to 9 points before Loaded Diaper even capped the zone a single time, and yet they were able to bring it all the way back here on the brink of, you know, getting, you know, of losing the first set of season 7 of SAC, and they said, nah, this is our set for the taking, and they showed exactly their dominance and their ability to hold, as was showcased in game 1, and takes a beautiful set over Velocity. What a great start to this SAC season.
But great starts must come to an end, and we will be back shortly with more SAC right after this break. I was not lying. That break really was short. We are already right back here with more Splatoon Advanced Circuit, starting out with Frostbite versus Carbon Buddies.
Oh my god, Weef, you're playing on Carbon Buddies? That's ridiculous. That's insane.
No. Look at that last letter. Important distinction. My
sincerest apologies. But yes, we are going to be getting underway here with round 2 between Frostbite and Carbon Buddies. Frostbite has been, you know, a pretty established team. In fact, they played in the last, you know, season of SAC. Didn't have, you know, an amazing season, but they're certainly back for some more redemption here. And they're going to try and find it against Carbon Buddies here in this second set, starting things off on TC Eeltail.
Yeah, in our last match that we saw another pickup versus another Talos team, and that time it went in the favor of the pickup. But here with Frostbite, you know, having some decent results in the last SAC, we could definitely see them, especially as they've had plenty of time to, you know, certainly grind some more things out. I could definitely see them, you know, taking it back and proving that their team is strong enough. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, tower control Eeltail. Am I gonna say the thing? I always say
go
when Eeltail.
For it. Do it. I believe in you.
It's a noodle. It's so thin. You can stand in mid and touch both sides of the walls with your fingertips. It's insane. And I know for a fact that Frostbite has a pretty powerful E-leader player, if I'm not mistaken, but they might have been switching off in more recent times. So something like that could be certainly powerful on a map that has like no other approach options.
Yeah, I mean, leader's been falling off, but if there's a map you're gonna pick E-leader, this is definitely one of those. Rapid Pro Deco is gonna come out though on the side of Carbon Buddies, and
There
we
it
see
is.
Sungura pulling out that leader for Frostbite there. Pretty conventional comp on the side of Frostbite, you know, the Viper Deco being the only new addition, but you got that, you got your backline, you got your splash, you got your Tetra, but Carbon Buddies running something very unconventional. We're seeing Custom Junior for the first time since I believe December. I mean, I've not seen that weapon forever. And we're seeing a Rapid Pro Deco coming out, one of the new weapons of the Sizzle season.
Carbon Buddies already being pushed back. One member down, one member jumped out, but the Carbon of Carbon Buddies goes forward and does get picked off, meaning that Carbon Buddies is really pushed back. And then we already see Reborn pushing up a lot. Sungura hopping on the tower, gonna be putting a lot of pressure as they do already break this first checkpoint. You know it's a welcome mat. I knew you were gonna say it.
I mean, it is a bit of a welcome mat, but I mean, the welcome that Carbon Buddies is getting is that Tetra's on Frostbite just absolutely barreling their way in. I mean, if we could peek behind that scorecard, oh, that's a nice snipe from Sungura, but behind that scorecard, that Tetra going ridiculous, and that allowed Frostbite to get a beautiful push to 64, but that push is decidedly over for the most part. X-Ray trying to, you know, keep some magic alive with that Tetris, but that's not going to be enough for nothing here, as they're going to start riding this tower, start bringing it towards that welcome mat on the side of Frostbite, taking the issue to them. But this is a fight that Carbon Buddies needs to win. Beautiful flick from nothing onto the X-Ray on the Tetris, and Carbon Buddies gets past that first checkpoint.
First checkpoint doesn't mean too much. It does get a nice little obstacle out of the way, but Carbon Buddies is really going to have to use their specials like that tri-check that's coming out in order to approach the second checkpoint and really make their presence known. Looks like they are going to be able to take the lead here.
Yeah, but that Carbon gets a beautiful pick on that E-leader, and that's going to be the X-Ray on the Tetris dropping in. To no avail though, Viper Deco is the last alive for Frostbite, and they're going to get picked off by that Zuka from, I believe, is that, I can't read that name, sorry, but beautiful Zuka pick. There we go, Woomy. Good job to Woomy for that Zuka. That's going to definitely bring Carbon Buddies towards that third checkpoint. And this third checkpoint is where, you know, a big make or break happens. This could decide if the game just ends here and now, or if it goes on a little bit longer. And, you know, with how it's going, Carbon Buddies might just knock it out here. That's that third checkpoint down. And Frostbite's really just getting pushed back into a corner here.
Quite literally, actually. That corner is very rough there, especially being thrown at them. Looks like with the missile they did test out, and they're going to get more favorable spot. They are going to be able to stop this something like that. 3 down, just that
Beautiful snipe by Sungura there, as they're gonna, you know, ride that tower a little bit, trying to, you know, get that redemption for, you know, losing all 3 of their checkpoints, but that's a lot of ground that Frostbite is going to have to make up. Sungura is going to be riding this tower though, going to probably break the second check, as the teammates are going to pave the way, pave the path, but here comes that decisive third checkpoint. Beautiful snipe onto Woomy by Sungura there, but that suction bomb is going to force a retreat, going to force a little bit more time. That Carbon Buddies going to have to set things up, but Carbon Buddies down to their last 2 members. This Rapid Pro Deco, nothing up here, is going to be trying to snipe that tower from afar, but they're going to be 10 missiles. This is where Frostbite's aggression is really going to come into play. It's 2 versus 2 as we come to that third checkpoint. Just the Neo Splash alive on the side of Carbon Buddies, and that's going to be the wipeout on Carbon Buddies. Frostbite probably going to get through that third checkpoint, and probably going to get that lead.
Yeah, not a fun. Reef Slider going to be able to go in, and that it's going to be the knockout, led in by the Reef Slider. Absolute W there. You know, it may not be a great map to play on, but that was certainly an exciting match.
Definitely an exciting match. You know, Carbon Buddies got an amazing push down to 17 very early on, pushed back a little bit more down to 16 just for good measure, but was not good enough. Frostbite runs it all the way back, bringing the tower all the way to the other side, getting 2 consecutive wipeouts in 2 team fights, and going to be dabbing on them as they take this game long.
Beautiful dab. Haven't seen too many of those since a lot of new emotes have come out, but yeah, beautiful match. Very back and forth, and I think you know, really sets us up for 2 more interesting games. I'm predicting this one's going to go to a game 3 with how close those have been. Right now, though, who do you think is going to fare better on Rainmaker Undertow?
Certainly an interesting question. I mean, it's hard to say. Frostbite obviously, you know, shown their clutch factor a little bit, but Carbon Buddies, I feel like, I don't know. Honestly, I have to think about this a little bit. Frostbite definitely has better aggression. I feel like aggression is rewarded on Rainmaker Undertow, or on Rainmaker as a mode, but Rainmaker on Undertow specifically can actually be pretty methodical because of, you know, how big of a difference it is going for either of those two checkpoints. And I feel like Carbon Buddies is a little bit better at being a bit more methodical. So, I mean, we could see pretty much anything happen. Who's to say what the future may hold? But all I know is we've got a great game in store for us.
I mean, I'm not a Carbon player, and I'm not even a frontline player, but I have to imagine that the Carbon that they have been running, you know, their namesake, would do decently well on Rainmaker. I mean, specifically Undertow Spillway with kind of like the ledges. It seems like there'd be a good amount of you know, places to shark. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would definitely agree with you. I mean, I'm a Tri-Slasher player, so not quite the same thing, but, you know, cut from the same cloth. And I gotta say, I love just the middle of the map area where pretty much everyone complains about. I love it because you can just go most out on this sometimes and just squid roll all over the place and just hit people for some very funky angles. I know Tri can do it. I can imagine Carbon can do it. And I mean, as you said, we've a lot of ledges to peek under. A lot of value can be gained from that Inkzuka as well, or that Trizuka, sorry. Just because of all the angles they can hit all around the map. You know, there's a decent bit of cover to hide behind, but Trizuka cares about none of that if it's aimed well. And clearly the Carbon from Carbon Buddies has been, you know, doing a great job at it.
And yeah, Eeltail is not the map for Carbon, at least from what I can imagine. So to see them be a little bit unleashed is going to be interesting. It's definitely excited for that as we go right into it. Let's see what these teams are running.
Yeah, CD Woomy is going to be sticking on that Carbon. Actually, same comp from Carbon Buddies here. And that's going to be a similar comp from Frostbite, swapping out that E-Leader for V-Splash here, trying to get some of that crab power going in their favor. And I mean, it's gonna be interesting one. Both these teams opting for a Neo Splash, which is kind of odd in my opinion, but both these teams are gonna try and make it work as best as possible. Frostbite gets the early pop, but not faring too well in this opening team fight. Two of them are gonna go down. Nothing trying to face up against these Tetris. Is able to get the pick off against X-Ray, and this Rainmaker's quickly moving towards that left checkpoint.
Treasure is going out, paving a way and painting the tower. They don't quite get the checkpoint though, as Frostbite is able to predict that they're going to go right and position themselves accordingly. They are going to be starting to push themselves out. Tri-Strikes at the ready, starting to, you know, clear out this right side in order to hopefully get themselves back into mid and recover as fast as they can. Pentimus is going to go out, which, you know, is of course always a good value special. All of the specials actually going around, except for that crab, you know, Tri-Strikes, Reef Slider. You know, the Tetris do go down from that Reef Slider, but it did pave a little bit away. 2 down, 3 down on the side of Carbon Buddies, and it looks like Frostbite is going to be able to make their way to the checkpoint. Nobody there to stop them, and they are going to be, well, almost.
Oh,
there you go, buddy. Are able to get it.
I just love, you know, just that leisurely stroll there to that first checkpoint, completely uninterrupted, and Frostbite going to try and continue this aggression here all the way past the 50-point marker down, but that Rainmaker just going to fall off the edge, going to get picked off. I think having the Tetris pick it up was a bit of an odd choice, and Frostbite, you know, not quite able to take full advantage of it, but they are able to get the top. But that's a nice double from nothing there. That's a triple there on the Tetris as well. Just a wiper deco left alive for Frostbite. That's the wipeout. That's going to be the end of their push at 49, but Carbon Buddies still has a checkpoint to get through to get that lead.
Yeah. It's not super solid. Nothing in Rainmaker is ever solid. You're never satisfied unless you get that knockout. But it's definitely looking better for Frostbite, especially with how well they're going to be able to keep Carbon Buddies out of mid even here, it seems. They are pushing left here through here, but with that splash washing left side, it's not going to be super easy to push through. They are being pushed, but looks like they are going to go down. That is going to be the checkpoint gain, but they are on the right side, which is kind of hard to push through at times.
Yeah, Carbon Buddies was able to muscle through that right checkpoint. You know, they know that getting that checkpoint is a big priority, but they don't really have any continuation off of it, and they're just forced back. Frostbite has complete control around the Rainmaker, and that's going to almost certainly be a reset here. And Frostbite extending their control into mid, forcing nothing to back off a little bit here. And the lack of paint on Carbon Buddies' comp kind of starting to show its face here. A lot of room for Frostbite to move, but that's not going to stop Carbon Buddies from getting a few picks and getting that Rainmaker back into their hands.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get much fall off of breaking that checkpoint the first time, but it does mean that once they do get another push going, they don't have to stop and wait. They can just go and use that explosive force that they have to push all the way through. But, I mean, not a lot of force going when they're 3 down. I believe the C Junior is just respawning. And so Frostbite is going to be able to get the pop and is going to be able to gun for another push here. Yeah,
and it seems like X-Ray on these two Tetris is, you know, the main Rainmaker carrier here on Frostbite, opting to have some other, you know, more slower members to support it. But that could prove to be a wise decision. Here comes that grab power, gonna be trying, Tri-Strike's gonna try and shoot it down from Carbon Buddies, but to no avail. The Neo Splash goes down. It's 3 versus 3 here as Frostbite's slowly walking this Rainmaker forward here. They do have the lead. They do have, all the control in the world. They just have to not let it slip out of their hands for the last minute and a half of this match.
But they do want to keep the aggression up lest they end up falling and, giving up all of their control. It is important to keep the aggression up and just be able to keep the other team from pushing. I've said this before, even today, but when you're pushing, you're not in a very lead being taken, and that's exactly why they just need to be able to go and switch back into aggressive mode and keep going, because it is definitely not over with a narrow lead like that.
Yeah, with that lead, absolutely nothing is safe, but Carbon Buddies has the slightest ghost. They're going to take it a little bit more onto that Uninkable, down to 34, and now all of a sudden things are looking a little bit better for Carbon Buddies here compared to, around 30 seconds ago. Now, with that Rainmaker being at 34, even if Frostbite opts to push it left, they're going to have to uncertainly go across some form of that Uninkable. Certainly going to be a tall task, but they have 38 seconds to do it. But they don't have a lot of manpower here for this last push. It's just the Viper Deco left alone. The Neo Splash just respawned. Viper Deco gets caught by the Tri-Strikes. That's going to be a wipeout with 30 seconds left on the game, and Carbon Buddies running it straight to that left side, trying to get it as far away from mid as possible, making the chop to Frostbite as difficult as possible.
X-Ray goes down, and it's going to be 1 down on the side of Frostbite, 1 down on the other side too. 2 down on Frostbite even. It's looking like they're having a hard time getting back on their feet. They are kind of in panic mode. They have 10 seconds left in order to get this pop and push it all the way down to 33 points left. But with just how much they're struggling here, that's going to be 3 down on the side of Carbon Buddies though, and they don't quite pick it up in time.
Just barely by frames, not able to pick up that Rainmaker before the game ends. Carbon Buddies with that Hail Mary push is able to stave off Frostbite. Beautiful end game from Carbon Buddies there. That last 2 minutes was immaculate, and they're going to take this to a game 3 once again.
Yeah, I was right. This is an extremely close match, and I'm excited to see how it goes on my favorite map mode in the game, Clan Blitz on Museum.
You finally owned up to it. Clans Museum is your favorite map, and I mean, with good reason.
Been owning up to it. This has been a known fact. This
is true. This is an amazing map mode here for certain. I mean, just so many options to push into the enemy plat and so many options to retreat from. It's Clans Museum. I feel like everyone at this point knows why this map mode rules. So definitely excited to see it, especially at this level of competitive play where both these teams are obviously very practiced on it.
Yeah, I feel like Carbon Buddy's really aggressive approach can work really well, and Frostbite's more laid back. Well, kind of. They still run the Tetris, but I feel like we're definitely going to see the appearance of the E-Leader back here, or at least some other backline on Museum because of how well it can defend flat.
I mean, Sungura might just stick with that Splash and say that Crab is the backline, so who knows? Anything is possible, but Sungura definitely, shown the ability to be able to flex on and off different weapons depending on what the situation calls, but right now, Frostbite definitely feeling some of that pressure. 2 very intense games. I mean, with comeback victories in the 11th hour. So definitely a tense set to just, only be the round 2 of the first tournament of the series. So I'm excited to see what the future may hold for both of these teams. But with that being said, we have to first get through this game 3 on Clans Museum. And here we go between Carbon Buddies and Frostbite. Let's take a look at these comps. Same old for Carbon Buddies and for Frostbite. We are going to see the return of the leader and the V-Splash over the Neo Splash.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are sticking with what they're comfortable with. Carbon Buddies Combine, I don't feel like we fully touched on how weird it is. The Rapid Deco, Pro Deco is weird. It's also going down right now. Already a blink and you miss it start. 10 seconds and already 3 players down, including that leader. So very explosive and allowing Frostbite to get a Crab up on the mid already. They already have a power clan being made. What is going on?
I don't even know. This is a much more breakneck pace than I'm used to for Museum, but that's a wipeout onto Frostbite right off the bat, and this Viper Deco sitting under the basket with 7 times their name. That's going to be the basket pop.
Oh my god.
2 power claims are going to go in, and the push from Frostbite is not stopping here. There are beacons on that plat, so the team members are more than willing to jump in. One is stuck in that corner. Ruby's going to swim right past it. Carbon Buddies might not even know about it, and that's going to allow Frostbite to continue the pressure, and here we go. Still an even team fight here as Frostbite has an explosive start, getting it down to 51 points in the first minute.
Yeah, no, that is genuinely insane. I don't think I've seen anything much like that before. And that's from the team that on paper has the slower comp. So it really just does depend on how fast you can really recognize those advantages that you do have. Now, they are at a slight disadvantage here. Two players did go down, but they still are going to be able to hold their plat, hopefully. Reborn is going to get
Oh.
Zuka right to the face.
Zuka moment, but Wumi is able to pick that up with the first bomb, and now we see Carbon Buddy starting to pick up their pace a little bit, but the missiles are going to slow their roll just a little bit, and that's going to be enough time for Frostbite to reposition, get some control back over their plat, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Carbon Buddy's now very hesitant to push up, even though they have 3 people there. They don't quite have the specials at the ready. Here comes that Zuka, though, being popped by Wumi, trying to find some picks, and the Whale's going to come in alongside it. X-Ray is going to go for the dive, is going to die, but they're going to waste a little bit more time, and right now Carbon Buddies has no special to work with in the face of that crab.
Ooh, the crab is going to be targeted by that, by the Carbon, but the Carbon does end up going down, as well as every member but that C Junior, who does get taken down as well. Is this a run back of the first minute here? Are we going to see another really, really good push from Frostbite, or are they going to, take it a little bit slower? They know they have room to play with, and so they don't want to risk getting wiped themselves.
I gotta say, Frostbite's play so far in this match, so far in this game, has been immaculate. Great defense, each of their team members was playing so well for distraction, just wasting a little bit of time for Carbon Buddies until Frostbite was finally able to just fully disassemble their aggression. Wumi's gonna pick up that power claim, surely by accident. That pity's not gonna be on their side for very long, and if it is gonna, reveal themselves, absolute chaos in that plat, but Wumi's gonna get a Zuka onto Reborn. That's going to be 3 down on Frostbite, just that leader, and Carbon Buddies really has to take advantage of this opportunity, but the leader gets the snipe on the player trying to get that power clam, and that's going to reset Carbon Buddies' momentum pretty much to 0, and Frostbite already back in mid, already has a ton of control, and already has the man advantage again.
A team like Frostbite using beacons is always such a nightmare, because no matter what, you always have to watch your back. There can always be a beacon. You always have to be checking your map. And that Wiper that was able to jump back into mid was really able to help with Frostbite's control of mid, because they weren't able to push in like they needed to, because there was a Wiper that was just slowly starting to chip at them. And now they're already back to the point where their enemy team is 3 down. They are starting to gather clams, and looks like X-Ray over here is going to be taking this block. 7 clams to their name, and is very close to getting a push started.
That sequence from X-Ray was amazing there with, the 2 assists and the slider kill onto Weem. And I mean, Carbon Buddies has not really had a chance to breathe under this pace of Frostbite here. The aggression has just been insane, even with that leader and, some slower weapons. Frostbite's been able to keep it up and just been able to wall out Carbon Buddies. And I mean, there's only, including overtime, there's only 1 minute and 30 left for Carbon Buddies to make something happen, and they're already 2 dead as I say it. And Frostbite trying to get onto the enemy plant once again. Here comes Reborn with that power clam, just trying to get close to that basket. Is almost to a crab as well. Gonna get that basket pop. Has a crab charge for the defense as well, and Frostbite decidedly has so much of an advantage. Even more points on the board for them, down to 46, and they have so many more clams at the ready. Here comes that crab tank as well, and I mean, this is just looking lights up for Carbon Buddies at this point.
Yeah, no, not one to overcommit. Frostbite is putting the, they've waited the entire game for another push like this. They haven't been just going willy-nilly for, small little chip damage pushes. They really have made all of the pushes that they have decided to commit to count.
Yeah, I mean, Frostbite is just playing so insanely well in this game 3. The first 2 games were close, and Frostbite has just kicked it into another gear here, up 87 points in the lead. Carbon Buddies has not made it to the enemy basket once, and they're gonna have to get it down to 12, and they have 30 seconds to do so, and they have that pity so far behind them. They have no mid control right now. They're 2 dead versus the 4 alive on Frostbite, and Frostbite has so much clam economy in their favor here. Carbon Buddies barely has any. That Carbon is gonna go down very early. Bab's gonna get that pick, and it's gonna have a power claim at the ready. It's 3 dead. Just the Neo Splash is not gonna be enough to stop another basket breaker from Frostbite, and they're gonna take that set with a dominant game 3.
Yeah, that was a far cry from those first 2 games, where it was really a genuine, like, who's gonna win? We don't know, because these teams are so back and forth. It was from the first minute, you could already tell that Frostbite had something else cooking here. Just absolutely insane gameplay. Like I said, they never really overcommitted. They never really put themselves in a situation where they had to play really, really hard defense, because they never went in those 4-down situations. They always had something held a little bit back so that they wouldn't lose all of their control, whether it be beacons, or whether it be specials, or players that are just playing a bit more safe. And when they did push, they made it count. Those pushes were, actually like masterclass Clan Blitz pushes, using their specials wisely, getting in there sneakily, and just making every bit of control that they had count.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could talk about that set all day, but, unfortunately, we are running a bit of a tight schedule, so we do got to go on a little bit of a break. But if that set is anything to speak of, this is going to be an amazing day of Splatoon, so make sure to stay tuned for all the action that's in store. Hello everyone and welcome back to SAC Season 7. We've had 2 amazing sets so far. We're going to have another amazing one, but before we move on a little more, I am Broken Pinky, joined here by my partner Weef, and we're going to get straight into it here. This amazing round 3 set between Sanctuary and the Flying Dutchman. Weef, what do you think we're going to see?
I know that Sanctuary made a pretty decent run in Proving Grounds last night, and I know that, who did you say? Sanctuary also made a really good run in the last SAC, so I feel like Sanctuary has a pretty strong chance of taking this home. But the Flying Dutchman is also a team that is not to be reckoned with also.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams put up impressive performances in the last season of SAC. Sanctuary made it to the top 8, made it to finals, and definitely had a good run there. But the Flying Dutchman also, had some good moments in that last season. I think making it as far as 5th in the silver bracket. So neither of these teams are to be underestimated. Both of them are absolutely strong players. So excited to see what happens as we hopefully soon see the maps for the upcoming set. But I'm excited to see it. Sanctuary back in SSC. Always love to see it. Always love to see these amazing teams come back and try and fight for that #1 once again.
I was gonna make fun of you saying you didn't have the Battlefy open, but I realized that the maps aren't on Battlefy to what I understand. Here, I'm gonna kill some time as I pull up the map list so we know what to talk about. But yeah, I'm excited. We've seen 2 amazing matches you mentioned so far, and I'm sure this one will be the 3rd, and I'm sure it'll follow because nothing ever goes wrong, ever. Period.
I mean, other than the connection issues that were happening a little bit in the first set.
True. We don't talk about those.
We don't talk. Yeah,
Nothing ever goes wrong.
Exactly. I mean, look, it's definitely not going to be on Twitter later. It's fine. It's chill. It's fine. It's chill.
I got the map list now. It's going to be Splat Zone's Umami Ruins, then Tower Control Hagglefish, and then Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge.
Definitely an interesting lineup of 3 maps.
Hey now. I actually am a decent fan of Splat Zone's Umami. It's one of the only double zones maps that I feel like isn't hot garbage, actually.
I think there's one you might be forgetting, but we're just gonna get right into it here. Of this 3rd set here of pools between Sanctuary and the Flying Dutchman. We're already seeing some interesting stuff. We're seeing V-Try plus Inkbrush coming out with the double splashes. and that's going to be, juxtaposed with the DC. Both of these teams are running an Ink Brush? Wait, what?
Love wins.
Well, okay, Love doesn't win in the face of the DC.
No, look, these guys, Love wins. There we go. The match has finally ended. That definitely did fall under DC rules, considering that it was right out the gate. And so we'll take a second to further discuss Devil's Own's maps as we wait for these teams to reboot. Or the fact that they were both running ink brushes as well. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen an Ink Brush mirror, like an Ink Brush comp mirror. Definitely interesting to say the least. And I believe it was also the Flying Dutchman running a V Junior. So a bit of a blast from the past there. I mean, we saw C Junior in the last set on the side of Carbon Buddies, and we're going to see V Junior making a bit of an appearance once again. So, I mean, maybe the December meta is coming back in full force. Who's really to say?
Yeah, V Junior, it did receive a pretty notable buff, being absolutely massive. It is huge now. It's roughly the size of a small country now, and it also does, it's a lot more easy to survive against specials like Inkjet and Crab Tank that are still pretty prominent.
Yeah, Big Bubbler being a special that, actually does well versus Inkjet is incredibly valuable in such an Inkjet-centric meta, where Ballpoint is the undeniable top one. I mean, you see some top teams running double Ballpoint on a decent amount of maps, which is, I mean, it's a great timeline, but it's also just goes to show how good the weapon is.
Yeah. And what do you think these teams are cooking up with the brush? I think one of the members of Flying Dutchman is a brush one trick, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure about the other team.
Yeah, I mean, you really never know what an ink brush is cooking, because sometimes they just huff glue, and sometimes they just get behind your walls and they stay there for 6 minutes. So, really going to be interesting to see, I mean, how both these teams opt to play around their ink brushes with Callie and Dyna, but seems like the roll is going to be a little more smooth here, and we're going to see, the move on this T-Tech stay in the lobby a little bit, and we're going to get right underway into this game one as the Flying Dutchman immediately takes control of both zones.
Although it is a double zones map, so that control is not going to last for long, as you do need both of those zones painted to actually start making progress. And progress is being made here. Sanctuary is going to get the cap, and it is going to get the lead here, as they got a good, sizable numbers advantage as Flying Dutchmen, who are now forced to respond and going to have to really find a way to get back in.
Yeah, and I mean, Sanctuary now starting to establish that hold here, but both of these teams are fairly short-ranged comps, so neither can hold an exceptional way. Neither can really neither has amazing options to contest the crowds that both of them are packing. So, and
neither has amazing internet, it seems.
Yeah,
I believe I'm not.
It's the same person. I think it's the Moo that DC'd once again on that T tag. I don't know what the DC rules. I think maybe if it happens twice, it's just an automatic loss.
Yeah, super unfortunate, as Sanctuary is probably going to have a very easy time now. I mean, a 34, it certainly is not unwinnable, but the chances in their favor are much, much lower now, especially with 2 members down. Sanctuary is probably going to be able to get right up into their plat right there and just kind of stay there, as if they don't, move too far up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. There's no other way to put it, but the Flying Dutchman is at least, being respectful about it, saying, they understand the scenario. I guess Umami Ruins is breaking all sorts of aspects of the stream, but regardless, that is going to be Sanctuary, doing a great job of this whole, I mean, obviously both of these teams are playing pretty well around this.
I mean, yeah, the Flying Dutchman is doing about as well as you can expect one's team to do when you're suddenly down a player. Now you're also thinking in the middle of the match, how are we ever going to have to find a sub? What are we going to have to do? Super, super unfortunate, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to find a solution.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Sanctuary is going to get that game, going to go up 1-0 in the set. I mean, in an unfortunate way. I feel like neither of these teams are particularly happy about that, and the Flying Dutchman going to have to, find a bit of an answer. Are they going to have to find a sub? Are they going to have to... Oh, is that a fist bump in that work? I don't even know.
I mean... fist bumping for beating up a team of 3.
As you do.
Just like punching down.
Celebrate every victory or something. I don't really know.
Yeah. Hopefully as we go on to our next map, Tower Control Hacklefish, which you were talking down upon apparently, hopefully we'll see a solution here, whether it be a sub-in or whether it be just smacking your router a few times and praying it works.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully something's going to happen, but I mean, if you really want me to address my allegations about not liking Hagglefish, I think tower control is actually one of the better, or not one of the better, it's pretty much the only good Hagglefish. I think the other ones are kind of dog.
Zones is okay. Zones is mid.
I disagree. I think Zones is bad.
It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. The only one I think is truly, genuinely terrible is Clams. I think it's almost just as bad as Mincemeat Clams, in my opinion.
It's close. It's definitely close. I think Rainmaker sucks too, but nah.
Yeah.
I feel like opinion on Hagglefish has only continued to go down, which I mean, as it kind of should because it's not an amazing map.
It's so over. It's so over.
It's a little bit over, you know, for all you e-liter players that just want to sit on tent and not have to find any challenge in the world for 5 minutes. Sorry to say, but you know, your era is gonna be ending a little bit earlier than you like.
I think it's been over for players like that as we're shifting into a meta where ballpoint is king and all that. But I mean, I don't know. I think at least tower is a solid stage. It can get snowbally near the end, but what tower control map isn't, to be honest, they're all kind of. Tower control in this game just genuinely is probably the least competitively favored, just because of the pure snowballness of it.
Yeah, I mean, this game Splatoon 3 made the bold choice to make pretty much no mode competitive other than Clan Blitz. So, yippee! But regardless, we're going to be heading right into game 2. Hopefully the internet is fixed a little bit. Actually, no, the mood gets subbed out by... Or are they subbed out? No, they're going to be staying in. Going to be rolling that dice once again.
Hopefully we do see them stay, because I would love to see how this goes with the Anarchy Nova coming out from the side of Sanctuary here. Going to be popping out plenty of Inkjets, you know, a really good alternative to something like a ballpoint. But Sanctuary is 2 down, and so Flying Dutchman is going to be able to move in and start riding that tower. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like Ozuna is just representing the plight of frontline players that want to play Inkjet, because they've been playing V-Try and now they're playing Anarchy Nova, so... You know, not amazing options, but Inkjet is just such a good special that you're still able to justify it. But even in spite of that, Flying Dutchman has all their members intact and are starting to make that charge past that first checkpoint here. They're going to break that fairly easily, and that's going to be a big advantage on their side. Sanctuary not quite able to get their bearings quite yet.
I will also note that they are, Flying Dutchman is running double bubble. They have that V-Roller who is up there causing quite a bit of chaos and doing a really good job of surviving and popping bubble on the tower, but they're also running the V-Junior, and so, I mean, bubble really is proving its usefulness here as they are advancing past where they broke that first checkpoint into second checkpoint territory, and the combination of the bubble and that crab is doing wonders for the amount of pressure Flying Dutchman is putting out as they almost break the second checkpoint.
Yeah, Sanctuary's really starting to stagger here, not quite able to get any, you know, firm hold. Tally's going to drop and get a nice pick. Going to get 2, gets that pick on the move there, and they're starting to force Flying Dutchman back. Nice triple from Tally there, really able to stave off the members of the Flying Dutchman. Dyna is forced to jump out, and that's likely going to be the push ending, but a push to 17 as your opener on TC Hagglefish is absolutely incredible. So Sanctuary definitely has their work cut out for them if they want to get this lead, and if they want to wrap this set up 2-0. But, I mean, getting control of mid as they have now is certainly a good start.
I mean, yeah, and they do have 3 full minutes to take it back, and once you get going on this map, you can really get going. But it's going to be hard to get something really started when they are 2 down. It's only the Anarchy Nova who does get taken down left on the field. Brush just coming out of spawn, and the Flying Dutchman has a green light to go ahead and start pushing again.
Yeah, I mean, definitely has, you know, that go sign, trying to pass, you know, go get 200 and get that knockout while they're at it here. Bubble's going to be popped on the tower once again, and the roller has their own bubble there. Bubble's going to be, I mean, going away pretty quick because it is on that tower, but that crab on the tower going to be so difficult to contest, and another bubbler is going to come out and protect it. That's almost certainly going to be the 3rd checkpoint for the Flying Dutchman, but it seems like Sanctuary's holding on just a little bit longer. 3rd checkpoint is going to fall, and we're going to swiftly head towards a knockout. It's at 2 points. Just Dyna left on this roller in the hut. This is almost certainly not going to be a knockout for the Flying Dutchman, but they are able to extend their push down to 2 points.
Yeah, Sanctuary just barely holding on. They basically have to knock out now. It's no longer an option to just push to that last checkpoint and then just pray. But, I mean, really, once you get past that second checkpoint, it is all uphill from there. It's going to be really difficult to stop. They were, fortunately, though, able to stop things at the last minute, basically saved by the bell.
Yeah, but I mean, now Sanctuary's time to make a push happen is dwindling. Only 1:45, and they're just now hitting the first checkpoint for the first time. Azuna gets sniped mid-inkship by that crab. Sanctuary is going to take that first checkpoint in their favor, but Flying Dutchman not to be outdone. Storm back in, throwing those strike strikes in mid, trying to just displace Callie on this ink brush. But the Flying Dutchmen are 2 dead right now. That roller is coming off the respawn, and there's another crab on the tower. Sanctuary has that tower special advantage in their favor as well. They're going to be using it to launch these specials off. Crab, Tri-Strike, Inkjet, all coming out in quick succession. Silver gets the pick on the roller, but goes down to Stormy here, though. And that's going to be Sanctuary losing that numbers advantage that's so crucial, and they're backing off the tower.
Yeah, things are looking really good for them, but unfortunately it's just not enough, and they are going to have to make another attempt. As the 1-minute bell rings, though, they are notably running out of time, and you never want to be put in that situation where you have to be pushing in overtime because of how punishing it can be. But they all have their specials. They are at a slight, either even in numbers, 3 and 3. They have the specials to make this happen, but there is a roller behind them who can definitely do some damage if they weren't taken out like they just were. They are starting to get the picks that they need, and they are starting to advance forward, but they are also 2 down.
Yeah, it's a 3 versus 3 right now. In the last 30 seconds here, the battle for the tower. Silver is going to be the designated rider. Callie goes down once again, though. The roller is behind them once again. Dinah coming in huge, allowing for a gateway for the team to push forward. 20 seconds left for the Sanctuary to regroup oh so quickly, but Nova is going to be forced to pop an Inkjet. Ozuna trying to get a pick. Ali goes down once again, and that's probably going to be it for Sanctuary. The Flying Dutchman has all the control around that tower that they need. Tower is in their possession, and Sanctuary forced to bum rush it to force an overtime, and those tri-strikes are going to come in and seal that deal. 3 dead for Sanctuary, and that is going to be the Flying Dutchman taking us to a game 3.
Flying Dutchmen proving when they're not at a severe numbers disadvantage for the entire game that they can get something going, and something going they certainly did, pushing all the way to 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing game there from the Flying Dutchman. The first game, we got to see how these teams actually work in this set, and it definitely worked in the favor of the Flying Dutchman. Sanctuary was able to make a bit of a comeback, getting down to 37, but unfortunately could not go quite all the way as the Flying Dutchman had, and all of a sudden, even in spite of that Game 1 DC messery, we're going to be heading on to Game 3 on Rainmaker Scourge Gorgery. Weave, what do you think we're going to see?
Sorry, what? Scourge? What? Why are you trying to rhyme that?
I had a thing going with the rhymes, and I realized, you can't really make Scorch Gorge rhyme with anything because the map is cringe. What can I say?
You were, speaking of cringe, that is you. But I think Rainmaker Scorch Gorge is a little bit underrated. I think that it's definitely, I don't know, it's got something going for it. It can be snowbally, and it just can be hard to get a knockout, and sometimes it's a game that often ends with like 10 points left on the board for both teams. But it is interesting, and it's definitely not the worst Rainmaker map in this game.
I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the best.
What? There's very few other better choices that we have. Unfortunately, a lot of the Rainmaker games and Splatoon 3 are just not good, to put it bluntly.
What are you talking about? There's Undertow.
But we've known this. We've known this.
No, there's so many good. There's so many good Rainmaker maps. There's Undertow.
Exactly.
So many good Rainmaker maps. Surely another will come to me by the end of the set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see the return of the V Junior here, or at least one of those bubble weapons, because I feel like it'd be pretty useful in holding an area up towards near one of the checkpoints, but it'll be see. I don't think we'll see 2 of them again. I feel like that's a tower control exclusive thing.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, I don't think we're going to, take the bubble and make it double. I don't think we're going to see that once again, but I mean, Flying Dutchman certainly
Why
proved,
do you keep trying to do that?
I don't know.
Why do you keep trying to be a rap god, huh?
It's not a rap god. It's the reference to Team Rocket from Pokemon. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, you keep trying to rhyme things. Whatever.
I'm just a silly guy. Why is it so hard for me to be a silly guy in this silly video game that is Splatoon?
Anyway, game is starting. Banter is over as we do get in. Double splash. Nature is not healing. I changed my mind. And do you see
Nature is dying, but we see Grey Zap, okay?
Who did you see Grey Zap? Yeah! And the double brush returns. Dinah returning from the roller onto the brush, which, I mean, it certainly can be, I feel like, a pretty good asset in Rainmaker here.
I mean, yeah, I mean, both of these teams have been rocking a brush mirror for this entire set, so... Or not the entire set, I guess last game Flying Dutchman swapped up the brush for a roller, but double brush has definitely been a prevalent, point in this set. It's going to make an appearance here in this game 3, and already very even start in mid here is going to be in the favor of Flying Dutchman, though. That's going to be 3 dead on Sanctuary. Just that Ink Brush were just coming off the respawn, and Flying Dutchman has that Rainmaker in their hands, running toward that first checkpoint, but the bomb spam is going to be coming out from Sanctuary, trying to prevent it. Sanctuary is going to be biding a little bit of time, and they are able to get that pick on that Rainmaker.
Bomb spam ever so important, as you can just kind of put stop pushes in their tracks exactly like that. And now Sanctuary has a chance to make a push of their own, but first they do have to get through mid.
Yeah, but I mean, getting through mid isn't really the big issue. The big issue is getting past that choke point on that ramp where the entire map is centralized around. Games are won and lost around one singular choke point. I mean, story is Splatoon 3 here, but I mean, the Flying Dutchman are able to prevent it before we even get there, and there's another DC.
I believe that may fall under DC rules, but it looks like these teams are not going to opt to keep playing. A little bit of good graces here.
I mean, are they?
Yeah, I feel like
Wug is still going. Oh, okay, the battle's going to end.
I think so. Because Flying Dutchman was having connection issues earlier, I feel like they'd be a little bit more understanding. Looks like Sanctuary is this time. Maybe it's something in the air, not necessarily a player.
I mean, what can I say? These players don't want to play on cringe maps. Am I right or am I right?
I think that you are cringe, and I also think that somebody at Nintendo HQ is chewing on the wires, and I sincerely wish they would stop it.
Always a little bit of messery from Nintendo. What would a good Nintendo esport be without some little sabotage all the way from our friends in Japan?
I mean, it could be somebody in NA as well. You never know. But
you know what? You're
anyway,
right. I never know.
Already out the gate, even without the DC, we did see the Flying Dutchman have a pretty good start on that map, and so I mean, things could certainly swing in their favor again, even without that. The unfortunate, the unpleasantness, as you may say.
The distastefulness of that disconnect.
Yeah.
I'll be completely candid. I was kind of surprised to see Sanctuary have that DC, considering game 1 of it is the Flying Dutchman. But
that's what I was saying as well. Maybe it's something in the air, not necessarily specifically the Moo.
I don't know. This has certainly been a very scuffed set so far, but hopefully game 3 will actually go through so it can be a little bit competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you'd certainly hope, wouldn't you?
I do actually, believe it or not, and hopefully my hopes will be answered.
Somehow I do not believe you. I think you hate this sport and want to see it die. However, these players want to live and see their placements go another day, both vying to win this set. It is game 3. Tied up 1-1, of course, and we are going to see this rollout happen yet again. Could it turn the good Sanctuary, turn the tides and get the winning opening fight, or we're going to see the same thing we saw and have the Flying Dutchman start out with a strong advantage?
Yeah, I mean, here we are, the first ever Game 5 set in pools in Splatoon history as we head right into this rollout. Into the map. Very even playing field for both of them, but Sanctuary starting to march forward a little bit with that, pain control. They are going to have that Rainmaker, snatched out of their hands a little bit, but that teammate is going to jump back in, and Sanctuary definitely has more mid control, but they are pretty scattered in their positioning right now. That Whale's going to come out for that Rainmaker. Silver, incredibly chipped as they make their way to that first checkpoint, not able to get there all that distance and only 6 points to their name.
Yeah, and with being 2 down, they do give up a lot of mid control for Flying Dutchman to take and rebound into a push of their own. Brush is going to pop Whale, and both of them actually are going to pop Whale, which is going to put some good pressure and apply Flying Dutchman to just keep on pushing up. They are just trading pick for pick, and it looks like neither team really have been able so far to get a good push going, but I expect that potentially to change as these tri-strikes go out and clear a little bit of room. But if they say that both teams go out, these teams really are kind of a mirror match.
I mean, yeah, both these teams are playing in a very similar way. They're both extremely short range, so they have to just go for that fight. And here we see the flank coming out from Sanctuary there, able to, protect that minuscule lead, but a lead nonetheless. And, this Inkbrush doing some Inkbrush things, trying to just keep their team alive a little bit, but it's been a tense and very slow fight so far. In the first minute 45, pretty much nothing has happened as far as the scoreboard is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the exact opposite of what we saw last time, where we just saw team fight going decisively in either team's favor and actual pushes. This time it's just kind of pick for pick, scrap for scrap. Both of the teams know the stakes of losing this, and I feel like both of them are probably scared of something getting fungled with the connection there. But it looks like Sanctuary is finally going to get something going. Tactical going out, and they are starting to advance into the ramp. And of course, as I do say that, they get completely wiped out, which means that the Flying Dutchman has a lot of momentum to their name.
Yeah, I mean, Sanctuary is able to push that lead down to 88, absolutely monstrous bar, but the Flying Dutchman now, because of that wipeout, they just had free reign to push in, absolutely free real estate over this map, and they're going to use it to try and take that first checkpoint while getting that nice little dunk there, and the Flying Dutchman, well set up, has a path painted in front of that first checkpoint, and they're ready to push that Rainmaker a little further. Crab's going to come out from Silver here on Sanctuary to try and stop things a little bit. That Whale's going to come out as well. You see a Crab Mirror coming out. Crab's going to get broken, though. There's 3 down the side of the Flying Dutchman, and they're not able to continue this push whatsoever. Bubble is going to be popped out of Desperation. That's a essentially wasted special, and Sanctuary now has, you know, their own wiper to work with, but the Moo is able to come in and get that pick on that Rainmaker, and there's another disconnect!
Hell on earth. Misery. The bird has awoken from the sound of another GC. And unfortunately, it's going to be in the Flying Dutchman's favor. No longer Sanctuary. It looks like, I think, or no, that was actually the Brush player that ended up going down, which is so unfortunate. And it does mean that Sanctuary is going to be able to get that checkpoint and is going to be able to get the lead here. It looks like they're going to be pretty uncontested. It's only that junior left in their path for them to get a knockout, who is going to contest and do pretty well, moving to the absolute max, but Sanctuary is going to get up to 7 before they get knocked out, and they still have this, you know, there's still a 3v3 out up on the Flying Dutchman spot for control here.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit over for the Flying Dutchman. Just absolutely heart-wrenching. Both of these teams have been playing their heart out this whole set, even in spite of all the scuffness, but I mean, only a minute left for the Flying Dutchman to take their 3 members and get that Rainmaker all the way down to 6 points or lower. It just doesn't quite look in the cards, and I mean, just look at this map advantage. It's entirely orange in favor of Sanctuary here. Riki's going to get that pick on that Rainmaker once again. Juiced up, so much control, has those Tri-Strikes at the ready, gets another pick onto Stormy. Tri-Strikes are going to come out, and all of Sanctuary is here. The Moo is able to get a pick, but to what avail? Just the Junior left alive and left alone for the Flying Dutchman.
Again, Junior is going to be able to one to stop this from going to a KO, but at one point is it like almost helpless here, it seems. You have 19 seconds left. You have to push it all the way to 6 points, and you have to do it with only 3 players. And while I certainly believe that they are not going to take this lightly, that they do believe that they can have a chance, and they are going to keep fighting to the very end, it is looking rough for them. With 4 seconds left on the board, they are going to try to drop it right, but they are getting quartered in their own base, and they are going to get taken out, leading Sanctuary to take it up 2-1 against the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, very unfortunate set. I'm sure that's not at all how Sanctuary wished for their pool's life to end, but regardless, that they are going to be the ones taking the set, and they are going to be finishing the first in their pool here at the opener of SEC Season 7. Absolutely, you know, gut-wrenching set. Fist bump over that Game 5, where 4 of those games were, you know, ended by disconnects. But, I mean, an unfortunate set, but Sanctuary are the winners nonetheless.
Things definitely could have gone differently if for not the connection issues. But I'm just interested, like, I mean, that kind of puts fuel under the fire for Flying Dutchman. They do want to take up and prove that without those issues, they could win.
Absolutely. And I mean, Sanctuary and the Flying Dutchman, if either of you are listening to this, I would love to see you guys just play an actual I mean, with these 3 maps, I would love to see just how the actual set would have gone. I think it's a cool set. I think you guys are both cool teams, so I would love to see it, but regardless, what's done is done, and that is going to be Sanctuary being the first seed of their pool, and we're going to be heading right into Top Cut, where we're going to see all these first seeds come into action. You're not going to want to miss it, as these winners of pools are going to, you know, just be in an all-out war, but unfortunately that means it's the end of our time. We are going to be throwing off to other commentators soon, but before we go, gotta ask, Weef, where can the wonderful people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at WeefSlider, but you can also find me on me and Pinky's new team page, no LOL underscore Splatoon or SPL. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we do have a new team, No Laughing Matter, which I mean, I'm definitely excited for it. It feels good to be on a team again. As for where else you can find me at Twitter or on Twitter at brokenpiggy_, where I just sometimes just be saying stuff, I'll be real. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this group stage of SAC. Hope you guys enjoy what's to come next. I'll see you guys very soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SAC Season 7 Opener Tournament. My name is Matt, and I'm here with J-Man, and we're going to be commentating most of the next bracket we got here.
Yeah, and we have an amazing first gold bracket matchup between two veteran SAC teams. We have Rabid versus SynRG, two of our teams that were in the top 8 last season. Points-wise, between these two teams, Rabid and SynRG are very strong teams. Now, Rabid does have the better results over SynRG, but their games often do go back and forth.
I believe SynRG, I believe they won SAC back in Splatoon 2, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they did. But Rabid and SynRG, they've had great matches against each other. Two very strong teams, and I believe I just noticed all of the maps are actually Splatoon 2 stages.
Yeah, that's actually so a little bit of a throwback here for sure, Matt. Going into our first round, this is for the first couple rounds of our gold bracket. This is best of 3. This is not going. It's single elimination, best of 3, so it is not going to be a play all 3 at this point in the tournament. And we're going to be getting right into it, starting with Clan Blitz on Mansa Maria. Honestly, Clan Blitz on Mansa Maria in Splatoon 3, it feels a little bit better. The basket is not really moved too much from where it was, but as we get right into it, we're going to take a quick look at the comps here, Matt. And on the side, of course, of SynRG, we have Respect, who is a fantastic Splatling player, someone definitely that the members of Rabid are going to want to watch out for this game.
You see Respect going right up there to try to take the pick off of Coral. They do get the trade there, 2 down on the side of SynRG, and Rabid's going to try to use this and capitalize, try to get as many claims as possible and to push in. We do see all those tri-strikes being thrown by Squeak as he's trying to gather those clams and get ready for a push.
Yeah, and a very interesting comp on the side of Rabid as well. Light Tetra duelies. Obviously, Zipcaster can be a little bit of annoying as the fight is breaking up. It looks like on the side of SynRG's flat there, as Aaron is in a little bit of trouble there, and he is going to go down to Pose, but a 3-down situation on both sides. It's 1v1. Last person standing on the map is Hap right now, and Hap just needs to get their team to jump in, but they're not going to be able to push here, Matt. Everybody is dead.
Now, it looks like Rabid's gonna try to play defense now. SynRG has they have somewhat of an advantage here, but with the Tristar, they're gonna push back in there. Haas gonna get taken out, and the Tetras on the side of Rabid is also gonna get taken out, and Post is gonna take that ball. As the Tri-Strike's flying in, Rabid is trying to do whatever they can in their power to try to keep them out of their base. But Noob coming right in with the shot. They're trying to make an opening. The Tri-Strike's coming in there, and Respect is able to throw in that first claim to start the push, but Candy comes up behind to try to stop it.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to shut down the push. SynRG is not going to get much. They are going to get the first score of the game, but unfortunately, Matt, it is not going to be enough for SynRG to take a very convincing lead, at least at the moment, as now Hap is being attacked from multiple sides, one down below, one up top, and is going to end up losing that fight there. Now the members of Rabid are looking for a pick, maybe under Respect, who they know is somewhere sitting, like, kind of on the street area of SynRG at the moment. Uh-oh, Coral looking like, Coral might be, having a little bit of a connection issue there as Respect is coming back in with the Inkjet. It's going to be able to push the members of Rabid back. And unfortunately, the members of Rabid are going to have to just work with what they can at the moment, Matt. They are going to have to work backwards back in the mid. And I think they wanted to have a push going, but it kind of got shut down by a slight connection issue there, maybe.
Maybe so, but now it's just a fight for mid now. They're both trying to take whatever territory they can, and Pose getting the pick off the Squeeze is going to be huge here. And they get another pick off of Core, and it looks like this might be SynRG's chance to push in here. But Squeeze just right there, throwing the ball, and they try to start something. But with that, SynRG is still going to be able to maintain their lead and have a ball on their side. And all they need to do right now is to try to paint up and lock out Rabid.
Yeah, and at the moment, it is going to be Rabid who will kind of even up the score a little bit. The penalty is going to sit 10 on each. I mean, the thing with Mansa Maria is it is one of those stages where I feel like you need to have control over the mast area. If you don't have control over the main mast, you're really not going to have good control over mid. And a 3-down situation right now on the side of Rabid. I think maybe a triple ink strike or something else came in. And this is going to be a big moment for SynRG to get some clams as they're going to drop their score down to 55 and still going with the Inkjet coming from Respect. Now, unfortunately, 3 members of SynRG going down. Respect, the last one alive, is going to get shut down off the plat, but a very good push there from SynRG to bring the score back down to 52. Of course, Rabid is looking for a very quick counter push here, Matt, but they're taking their time pushing into mid here. They're just trying to get as much control as they can, and they're really wary of where Respect is going to come from at the moment, it seems like.
SynRG able to extend their lead a little bit, but Rabid is just able to push right back in. Now they're taking main control, but two of them go down. That's going to be huge. SynRG is going to be able to go back into mid, and Rabid's going to get forced to back up again. And now as they're losing time slowly and slowly, they have to make these pushes worth it. And Candy goes down, the Tri-Strike, the Trizuka comes in here, and SynRG takes the map again, and Rabid is having a bit of a struggle to try to get back into mid.
Yeah, it seems like the possible with the time these teams have fought each other over and over, a 3-down situation now, and the members of SynRG move the last one alive. They're going to go down right there, and this is going to be Rabid's opportunity to come in and score, but they're going to have to use this Zuka to try and push people off. Misses the first Zuka shot, misses the second one, finds Pose at least onto the third one, but they still need to put a clam into the basket, and they're finally going to do it and break that here, but they need a lot more clams. Another pick, and another pick come out on the side of Rabid here, but unfortunately they just don't have enough clams to take lead. They have to make another power clam, which they will have, so Rabid will have an opportunity to possibly make one more push coming into the end of this game with 30 seconds left, Matt. But at the moment, this is a very close game between two veteran SAC teams, and you love to see it starting the gold bracket.
Now these leads are so close and the penalties are so low. Anyone can push at any moment. We see Candy and Cora pushing up there, but they're gonna get thrown out to the Tri-Strikes, and Candy's trying to get the pick off of Respect, and they're trying to push in here, and then overtime starts. Pose is trying to get the jump in. Crow just barely hanging on there. Aaron gets the trade, and now it's down to a 2v2. Squeak trying to push in there, but it's getting thrown out, and Candy falls off the map. And this overtime is only running out. Squeak is the last one.
Oh my god, but that Tri-Strike was huge. The ball comes in. It's not going to be enough for lead, though. They still need one more clam. And Aaron has it. Aaron's going to go in and try and get the clam. And they do!
Lead.
Unbelievable. Rabid taking game one in what is potentially the last 20 seconds of overtime there. That's what you love to see here at SAC. What an amazing first game.
What an amazing match we were just able to see between Rabid and SynRG. Again, two veteran SAC teams that have taken such good matches, and just Rabid able to clutch up just the second squeak. He maximized how far he could throw that super clam, just throwing it right into the basket to try to activate the time so that his teammates can just jump in, and they were able to do perfectly that, and they didn't have that much to really go there until they can get the lead there, and they were just able to go in through and throw, I think, 3 clams in, and able to take that lead there. SynRG has to win these next 2 games if they want to win the set.
They do, but man, that game literally came down to the wire, and it was so nice to see some heavy competition between these two teams, as our next map is going to go on to Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I honestly think with SynRG's usage of Respect more so, I feel like if they can put Respect up on top mid here on Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy, SynRG is going to have a very dominant control over this map here, Matt.
And if they're able to just, whatever team just able to, we've seen Splatzone's Inkblot, it's a map where you can easily get locked out, but there are a few spaces where you can just slip right through the cracks and try to get a pick to allow your team to move in onto the zone. And that's what we got to see here. If a team locks each other out, we just want to see how well we can use those flank routes that aren't in Splatoon 3 to try to just push in, gain as much control as possible, use those specials to their advantage. And that's what we really want to see in this next match.
Yeah, not really a lot of change more so on Splatzone's Inkblot between Splatoon 2 and, of course, Splatoon 3. So while the flank routes do exist, they're a bit more well-known now. Obviously, we had it all through Splatoon 2, and now in Splatoon 3, everybody kind of knows this map inside and out, considering everybody's played it long enough. But the big thing that it does come down to is that control over top mid, and I got to give it to SynRG here. I do think they honestly have an advantage here with having Respect on the splat lane, but of course the light Tetra dualies on the side of SynRG are going to be a little bit of a problem if the Zipcaster is allowed to run wild, and even if the Tetras are allowed to run wild. It's one of those weapons that you feel like you have to 2v1 in most fighting situations, and Rabid already quickly aggressive. You can see Candy moving up and already getting a pick to start this game.
right away, just trying to move in, get whatever picks that they can here. Respect able to take him out on that ball point, and the crabs are popped on both sides. As we see that fight, Aaron pops that jet to try to get Respect out of the way there. The tri-strikes coming in there, and now it's just a fight for the zone. The ball point goes down on the side of Rabid, and it's just a fight for the zone there. Candy just trying to get Respect out of the way. Post coming in there to try to assist, and Candy does get taken out there, which could allow SynRG to move past and try to take control of that zone with that Inkjet's help.
And this is a really important Inkjet from Respect. Unfortunately, Respect is going to get picked off by the ball point on the other side on the Rabid there. But the zone currently sits in SynRG's favor, but these tri-strikes will indeed decap that zone. Not actually entirely as fast as I thought it was going to, but with two members of SynRG going down, one of them in zone, Rabid is going to be able to retake the zone and control here.
Now they have their crab ready, getting smacking core with the burst bomb. Now it looks like Rabid is able to establish the lead. Candy goes down there, and we do see the double special pop from SynRG, and Rabid trying to use the tri-strikes to block them off there and pose on that zone to try to just cap with those tri-strikes. But Rabid is able to still maintain control, but they have to be careful of Poser just sitting on the zone there. They're able to get the pick off of Koro, and they're able to get the pick off Squig, but Aaron takes him out just in time before any big damage was done there. And Rabid is still able to maintain the zone, trying to just extend their lead any further. It's going to be great for them.
Yeah, and a good job on SynRG here. Obviously, Half kind of moving up, kind of coming, I believe, off the top there to get the pick onto Aaron, but they're not good. They are going to be able to apply the penalty to Rabid here, but they do need to hold the zone control here, at least for the moment. The crab tank of Half is ready, and you are wondering if Half is going to go up the top mid here and pop this. Yes, they are indeed right now. They're just going to try and keep the members of Rabid back, maybe go for a pick or two, but the members of Rabid are just sitting back enough where the crab tank is not going to be at its effective range. And now Candy running wild over here with the touches, unfortunately overextends a little bit and is going to get punished for it. But the tri-strikes are coming in that will decap the zone. Half needs to paint with his teammate to try and recap the zone, and they are going to retake the lead here, Matt, as the Inkjet from Respect looking for a pick onto Candy. Can they find a pick here? No, they're not going to be able to, and they know at least now Candy is somewhere over there on the I would say the pit side of Rabid there. And right now, 2 down on both sides here, Matt. At the moment, it's looking like SynRG's game. It just doesn't feel like Rabid is going to have enough paint here.
Just barely able to take the KO right before those tri-strikes landed, and SynRG taking game 2, and now it goes down to a game 3 scenario.
Yeah, you love to see that, and it was that first play from Respect was. It was good. I mean, I like the call of the Inkjet. Unfortunately, Respect wasn't able to get much use out of the Inkjet going down to the ball point on the members of Rabid there. But later they came back. I mean, Rabid had very solid control over the zone. But that play from Pose that you pointed out, Matt, being able to get 2, it forced Aaron basically back into that corner there. And then Half cleaned up the rest, and it just allowed SynRG to not only retake the zone, but with a couple mistakes on the side of Rabid, like that overextension from the Tetra Dualies going in and not finding any pick and just getting picked out. SynRG able to take a very solid Splat Zones game on Inkblot Art Academy.
Now it comes down to this tower control Surge and Shipyard game. We've seen how strong these teams are against each other, and we've seen them play so many times in the past. So just seeing them able to play again is just like such a veteran matchup, as we just keep using the word veteran, but it makes sense. These two teams are very strong, and they have been playing SAC since Splatoon 2, and again another matchup against each other, and whoever wins this, I believe, will be heading off to top 4.
No, actually, the thing with our new groups format is that our gold bracket is a top 16, so there's actually going to be multiple rounds here to go through. Obviously, you and me are going to be commentating round 1 and 2 here, but as we get into semis and grands, we are going to be seeing more and more SAC. And at the moment, between these two teams, on the other side of the bracket, Pending is facing off against Flying Dutchmen, currently at a 1-up score in favor of Flying Dutchmen. So Rabid and SynRG will be playing the winner of Pending versus Flying Dutchmen in round 2 here. As we get into game 3, tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard here. We are seeing a very very confident comp coming out of the side of SynRG here. You've got double splatter shot, splash, and ballpoint, and on the opposite side, Rabid. Again, those light Tetra dualies. That rapid blaster deco, that thing, it can be an absolute menace on this map, and is going to be something that the members of SynRG are going to have to watch out for too. And it is going to be Aaron using this this rapid blaster deco here. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to find any picks onto the members of Rabid, and 3 of them are going to go down. But Candy with a huge double to keep themselves in the game. The Zipcaster is live. They're probably going to zip to the tower to try and find a pick here. Are they going to be able to find one? They're going to get an assist on one, and they are going to pick out the second one. That Candy with a big play to make that push not go as far as SynRG wanted.
That would have been huge if SynRG especially got past that first checkpoint, but Candy was able to prevent that, and they are going to get taken down there. And we do see Noob trying to look like they're going for a flamethrower. The Tri-Strike's blocking them off there, and with Koro going down there, Squid gets picked off the tower, but they are able to clear that first checkpoint, which is really crucial on this map here. Respect going to have to be forced to just try to take out whoever they can on that ballpoint. The Inkjet is out from Rabid. They're making sure no one is near them. They need this map control. And we see Koro trying to try to take anyone out. And there's the pick off of Noob. And it looks like Rabid is able to push even further.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job. I love this aggression here because the thing with Surgeon Shipyard is that this whole area from the second checkpoint to the end, this can snowball. And the amount of paint that Rabid is putting on right now is absolutely insane. There is nobody contesting this checkpoint, as now this is the final opportunity for SynRG. They get the pick onto the tower. 3 members of Rabid go down. It's just Aaron left. They are going to be able to at least stop this push and live another day, but a jump comes in from the back, and there's another jump on the point. This push from Rabid is not over yet, as 2 members of SynRG go down here, Matt. Now 3 members down, and that checkpoint is gone.
And Carl gets taken out there, but they get the pick up and Noob. Squid barely hanging on. They're down to 5 remaining. Aaron tried to pick up Pose, but it's not going to happen in 3 down on the side of Rabid. SynRG has a lot to go through, but they were able to stop Rabid from KOing, so they still do have a chance to win, and they are taking over mid very fast.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that SynRG did not want to take 1 or 2 members and push into the pit sooner. Obviously, getting that mid paint's really important, but they really need to establish some dominance, at least around this first checkpoint area. The first checkpoint, as you said, Matt, is a very crucial checkpoint to get. It does snowball very quickly from there, especially if you have good defense at the moment. You can see Squid currently fighting Respect in the corner by the tower there. It looks like Respect is going to come out on top there. Pose looking for the jump in, is going to be able to take out the Tetris. That's a 3-down situation now, with the last one being Koro, and Koro falls off the map. You hate to see it.
And now they're able to push back checkpoint 1. The Tri-Strike's coming in there to try to block Rabid off as much as possible. Moving into the second checkpoint, Respect popping the Inkjet. And now it comes down. It looks like they are able to clear this 2 down on the side of Rabid, and this is going to be scary for them. SynRG pushing in very strong. Coral trying to take them off, but it's not going to work, and they're able to take the lead, but with 2 down, and Post goes down. There's just 1 remaining on SynRG. Rabid is able to pull it through with just the 2 difference, but Noob comes in and Aaron takes them out, and they stop the push from Rabid. Just barely. The 2-point lead from SynRG is going to be huge.
That is unbelievable what we just witnessed between that Noob almost clutching it out for SynRG there at the end, but they do have the lead, as you said, Matt, and now Rabid is on a timer. There's only about 90 seconds left on this match, but again, there's no checkpoints between either of these teams right now. So any push is going to be a big push here, and you can see how far Rabid is pushing up. They're trying to be aggressive. The Zipcaster now coming out from Candy. Unfortunately, the Rabid is going to be taking down 2 members down on the side of Rabid. 1 member on the side of SynRG, but the tower is not moving right now as another member of Rabid goes down. SynRG hanging on for their lives with this lead right now.
Pose able to try to get one of those picks, but they fall off the map, and both dualies are down. And with 45 seconds left, Rabid does not have a lot of time, but they do still have a little bit of time. They do have mid, and they have that tower in possession. They want to keep that power somehow in their base, even if it's not near that lead there. And Koro trying to pick off Half, and there they come in there, but Half gets the pick. And now 2 down on the side of Rabid. SynRG able to just barely keep it up. And with 20 seconds left, Rabid is still trying to push this tower. They are doing whatever they can to try to push into SynRG's base.
And you can see that the T-Tech on SynRG right now is holding their triple ink strikes. They have not used it yet, so this is going to be the moment that this triple ink strike is going to get popped. They're going to have to throw them out. You can see Pose is waiting exactly for them right now. 3 seconds left on the clock. The triple strikes are coming in. That's a 3-down situation. That's a wipeout, and SynRG will take a revenge game, essentially, on to Rabid here. SynRG going to be winning, I believe, their first set, according to last season's stats, against Rabid. That's a huge confidence booster if you're SynRG.
And that is going to put SynRG in the top 8 of SAC Season 7. And that is going to knock out Rabid very quickly. And what a great match. Such close games. We saw Rabid clutch game 1. And we saw how well SynRG was able to protect themselves during splat zones. And SynRG was just barely able to push through with that 2-point lead past all the checkpoints and take the game. That it has to be one of the closest sets I've seen in a long time.
That was an absolutely fantastic match between two veteran SAC teams. And what a way to kick off our gold bracket than seeing that match, Matt. I mean, there were plays from individuals on both those teams in so many different ways. Pose getting some really nice doubles. Candy getting some really nice triples and doubles. I mean, the play from every player on both those teams was fantastic. But at the end of the day, SynRG just able to work with what they had, having a more conventional comp, not really leading to the other games. Just an absolutely incredible top 16 game to open up our gold bracket. And it feels like we are going to be getting into our next game, actually, rather quickly. It seems like we are getting essentially the next part of the bracket underway relatively fast. I absolutely love seeing that. So our next match, Matt, we are going to be seeing the Shadow Wizard Monsters. I'm sorry, Shadow Wizard. Yes, Shadow Wizard Money Gang. I'm sorry, I don't know why it was said. To me, it looked like on the bracket. It looks like Monsters. No, we don't get breaks here. These teams are ready to play for this opening tournament. So we are going to be seeing Shadow Wizard Money Gang versus Sanctuary. Sanctuary, of course, is another one of those teams that we have seen in SAC before. But we do have some newcomers in the form of the Shadow Wizard Money Gang, who I'm interested to see their performance coming into our next games here.
And this is going to be definitely an interesting matchup. I haven't seen these two teams, but I believe we saw Sanctuary just before I think we saw them groups round 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Sanctuary is a team that we are, at least at SAC, are familiar with. We definitely recognize a couple of the players here. I mean, the one that stands out to me immediately off the Sanctuary's roster is Ozuna. Ozuna is just an incredible player, no matter which way you slice it. A great personality as well. Ozuna is just one of those players you want to be around and you want to play Splatoon with. But on the side of Shadow Wizard Money Gang, I mean, I don't really have a lot of information on a lot of these players myself. Maybe with the exception of Luna. Luna sounds like a name that it rings a bell in my head, and I'm not sure if this is the Luna I'm thinking of because I know there's a couple of them.
There's a few Lunas out there. I think it's the Luna from what's their name? Hold on. I know. You know what? My mind just.
It rings a bell, right?
Yeah.
It absolutely rings a bell as we get into our round 2 games. Now, again, this is best of 3. We are not going to be getting best of 5s until later, of course, in the bracket. And with that being said, let's take a look at our maps coming up for the next 3 games. We're going to be starting with Rainmaker on Museum, Dalfoncino, followed by Clay Blitz on Scorch Gorge, and then finally, if it comes to it, a Splat Zones on Make-A-Mark. Between these two teams, I am quite interested in seeing what Sanctuary is capable of. Obviously, they were one of the more standout teams of SAC. They were formerly known as I Don't Know. They are just they're a good team overall. They're a strong team. They have very good synergy together. So it's going to be interesting to see coming into this next match against a team that we really haven't seen in SAC at all, with the exception of maybe a couple names. We're ready for it. And I'm excited to get into Rainmaker on Muse and Delfonsino here.
This is definitely going to be a great matchup. Sanctuary, a team, and we have Shadow Wizard Money Gang. I love that name. And I believe they're coming in as a pickup. Rainmaker Delfonsino is definitely a map where you're able to clear that checkpoint either incredibly fast or incredibly slow. If it's in your favor, you're able to just jump from that middle spinner right onto the checkpoint. But if not, you have to go right. You have to take that little ramp on there, which the other team will be waiting for. So the checkpoint are these two teams' priority. They need to get through the checkpoint if they really want to go in for more points. So we're gonna have to see them try to just maintain that turf control, maintain their specials, making sure they have a special right when they pop. Rainmaker, doesn't matter what kind of special it could be anything. But as long as they can use it to try to create that space to clear that checkpoint, that's what is going to allow these two teams to win. So let's see what comps we got today.
I love the group banners all on the member of Shadow Wizard Money Gang over there. They all have the exact same splash tag banner in the background as we get into it. And we are seeing an Anarchy Splattershot Nova come out on the side of Sanctuary here with Ozuna, of course, on that tri-bucket, but on the side of Shadow Wizard Money Gang, we've got Light Tetra Dualies, an N-Zap, a Ballpoint, and a Splash Neo. One of the newer, I would say, one of the comps that seems to be getting some newer use here in Splatoon 3, but some very solid and aggressive weapons overall. Shadow Wizard Money Gang is going to be very quickly able to break through the first checkpoint, although the Rainmaker will be dying immediately to the triple ink strike here, but Sanctuary looking for maybe 1-2. Huge splats by Ricky there.
Ricky able to pick up through them, immediately stopping that push, and we see Sanctuary pushing immediately onto that checkpoint. The Fizzy Bombs trying to stop them. The Tri-Strike coming in there to block out the tower, but they are able to clear that, dying to the Tri-Strike, just like how Shadow Wizard Money Gang got that checkpoint last time. But they're pushing right in there, able to take the lead there. The Tri-Strike's trying to block them off there. We do see Soko trying to take them out. They are able to take the lead, and it looks like in this situation, Ricky has to fight Soko, but Soko takes them out. And now the Rainmaker is back in Shadow Wizard Money Gang's possession. But a quick lead from Sanctuary, and we're only just a minute into this match.
Yeah, these are two very aggressive, like, comps going at each other as we see the Zipcaster get cast over there and try and pick out in the bottom of their screen there. There's a fight happening there. I'm not sure you can see it as Silver is the ballpoint, of course. I'm sorry, no, not the ballpoint. The Anarchy Nova actually on the side of Sanctuary here, but unfortunately is going to fall to the triple ink strikes as Shadow Wizard Money Gang is now making a push, but unfortunately Shallow is not going to be able to get up this ramp as there's too much pressure from the ink strikes. But three members suddenly of Sanctuary are down, and there is a path for the Rainmaker for Shadow Wizard Money Gang, and now three members on the opposite side are going to go down, and that push is going to end right there. But Shadow Wizard Money Gang, once again, being able to take the lead, is now the brush coming in. Unfortunately, just doesn't have enough range to challenge 5th Gen there.
And now with 3 minutes left, Shadow Wizard Money Gang getting a quick lead, just a 10-point lead, but definitely a lead that they'll enjoy. And Shallow trying to take off Silver. We do see Jen coming right in there to try to pick him off, but the Rainmaker taking them out, and Sanctuary has a chance to really push in here, but the bombs are going to try to stop them. Ozuna on that, trying to just give whatever coverage that they can here. The brush on the side of Sanctuary gets taken out there. The splash goes down there. There comes that Inkcheck coming in there. We do see Jen coming in right away for that Rainmaker, able to get the trade in, stopping Sanctuary's push as the rest of them are going to be going down there, and Shadow Wizard Money Gang is able to keep their lead for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but it looks like Sanctuary, like, no one moved up on the Rainmaker after the picks were gotten, so Ricky was able to just move in and maybe get 1 or 2, but Ricky's the last one left alive on Sanctuary, and that is going to be a full wipe out there. I was kind of worried that Shadow Wizard Money Gang just wasn't aware that someone was moving down on that right side, but it seemed like they were, and they were confident in their positions where they could stop and maybe another quick push from Sanctuary. And at the moment, it seems to be working out as there's a fight breaking out on the bottom of the screen there, as the Tetras, of course, on Shadow Wizard Money Gang are going to end up going down there. And now the triple strikes, the triple ink strikes are going to be coming in, and now it's Sanctuary's time to get a little bit of a better push here as they're challenging 5th Gen. 5th Gen unfortunately runs into a 3v1 situation, and you never want to see that if you're Tetra Dualies. You got too many targets and not enough time to shoot any of those targets, as now Sanctuary once again on the push. It looks like, oh, what a huge I don't know if that was a bomb or what, but got it 2 down there, Matt, on the side of Sanctuary. And once again, Sanctuary wipes out.
Sanctuary has been having a little bit of trouble trying to push farther into their base. And Shadow Wizard Money Gang is able to just maintain the lead. Ozuna coming in there, trying to get rid of picks that they can there. Luna able to take him out just in time there. And now it's just a fight for mid control. The Rainmaker resets. And Wizard Money Gang has a little bit of an advantage, but Sanctuary still has a tiny bit of time left to try to push in. There come the Tri-Strikes, but 3 down on the side of Shadow Wizard Money Gang. And Sanctuary is able to pick up that Rainmaker. And with a minute left, they could start a really huge push here.
Yeah, they could, and it looks like the bomb spam is going to be coming in here, but Sanctuary looking like they want to use this top platform to at least get some advantage. The light touch abilities are going to go down. The Inkjet, unfortunately, is really focused on Ozuna right now, and the Inkjet is going to go down as well. But unfortunately, that Inkjet did stall for enough time, so it's a matter of can Sanctuary push up for the lead. The Sprinkler is going to slow them down. They need to win one fight here to get it. They are going to get the lead. They got it to 31, so now Shadow Wizard Money Gang is on the back foot, and they need to do a solid push, but Sanctuary is still on their top spinner platform, although they are aware of it and quickly take down Ricky. This is a moment for Shadow Wizard Money Gang, of course, to make their push, but it is a long ask. They have to go from one side of the map to the other here, Matt, in the last 15 seconds.
And this is going to be hard for them, even though it's just a 1-point lead here. They are doing whatever that they can to try to push in here, but Sanctuary has to keep their defense. They have to keep those bombs in. Jen trying to create a path for them with the poison mist and the bombs coming in. The Rainmaker does not have a lot of time to push in here. We do see the brush getting taken out there, but they are still able to just keep it up. The Rainmaker Freeman zone stuck trying to... I'm at a loss of words because the Inkjet took them out.
Yeah, just a little bit too much pressure there on the side of Shallow or Swallow there. Just not in a good situation there. It was forced to back up into the Rainmaker free zone. And the other thing with Splatoon 3 Rainmaker that you also have to realize is that overtime in Splatoon 3 Rainmaker doesn't last forever anymore. That timer ends when that Rainmaker explodes. So there is a little bit of pressure with Splatoon 3. Overtime cannot go as long as it used to, I would think, from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3. And especially with that new checkpoint system, especially if you need to break through those checkpoints, which luckily neither of these teams needed to at that point. But that also can pose a lot of threat. But just the pressure from Sanctuary to hang on to that game there, and just the Inkjet pressure was enough to push the Rainmaker back into the Rainmaker free zone, and that was it. So Sanctuary is going to be taking game 1. But Shadow Wizard Money Gang putting up a pretty large fight, in my opinion there, Matt.
Yeah, they put up a hell of a fight. We just saw how aggressive they were at the start of the game, because I believe they were the first team to clear that checkpoint. And we saw how well they were able to even push back when Sanctuary had originally take that lead around a minute into the match, and they were able to push back and take that lead. But they were just able to keep defending for so long, but Sanctuary just barely had that advantage to try to push in just an inch, a foot extra to take that lead. And it was just the pressure that Sanctuary was giving them was just so much, and Sanctuary was just able to keep it up and take that win. And now going into this game 2, Shadow Wizard Money Gang has a lot they need to do. They need to win these next 2 games if they want to win over Sanctuary, and Sanctuary isn't going to let them have it easy.
No, not at all, but it seems like this is going to be another good back and forth, and I'm interested to see the comps that we get in this Clan Blitz game, because it seemed like Shadow Wizard Money Gang wanted to run something that was well, a bit more like, I would say a bit less conventional, as we see yet again on the side of Shadow Wizard Money Gang. They are opting to hold that ballpoint, but this is a very interesting comp. I mean, they've got Tacticooler, Crab Tank, and the Zipcaster Tetras, which we are seeing actually quite a lot of now. Putting Zipcaster on Tetra Dualies was, I think, everybody's biggest fear. They did it, and it is a good weapon. But on the other side, Sanctuary also running just a very interesting comp themselves with the Inkjet farm that is now known as the Anarchy Nova. I mean, this is such a strong weapon for early game now, too. It can basically get Inkjet in almost 7 seconds.
And I mean, we saw how Nova was even before this one came out, the original Nova, but I can't even talk about Nova right now because they pushed in with that Super Climb, Sanctuary getting wiped out super early into their push, only able to get that first Super Climb in here. And we see Soko going right in for it, trying to let those jumps come in. There comes that Tacticooler, and Shadow Wizard Money Gang is pushing very, very incredibly fast into Sanctuary's base.
I don't know if I like the play from Shadow Wizard Money Gang here to get their tactical up, but the thing is, Soko had a ball there and opted to not score it, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to because I think they waited too long. They were just waiting on the cooler, and it just did not get there fast enough. So what could have been an essentially a tying push no longer exists, and they get wiped out, and now Sanctuary on the counter push is going to be putting some clams into the basket very quickly. They should easily be able to get under 60, possibly even under 40 here, if the members of Shadow Wizard Money Gang aren't aware of it. Unfortunately, 2 members are going to go down, but Shallow is also now going to go down, and they might be able to go under 40. Yeah, to get the score to 31. That is going to be finally the end of Sanctuary's push, and now it is a matter of Shadow Wizard Money Gang. They need to push up and get a score right here. They cannot hesitate with the wipeout here.
They still have to be really cautious pushing in here right away. The crab going to take it out there, and the brush coming in there to try to pick off Soko, and the gal going to be going down there. Sanctuary trying to keep up the pressure, but they're 2 down. This gives them the chance to really start to push in here. And the brush is basically being a distraction, but they are able to put that ball in to start off their first push of the match, and this could be huge for them.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big push. Unfortunately, no one opted to go back to the base for the ball, but they are going to be able to drop the score under 50, which is really nice. That will put Shadow Wizard Money Gang back in contention here, as now Swallow looking just for a couple more clams here. It's the 35. That's pretty good if you're Shadow Wizard Money Gang. I would be pretty happy with that push here. Now Luna is unfortunately going to get absolutely rocked in that crab tank there. Possibly a little bit of a panic pop there, but Shadow Wizard Money Gang putting themselves back in the game with that push here. Let's see how they can counter Sanctuary's upcoming push here as the Inkjet immediately coming out from Sanctuary. Man, this thing farms Inkjet like it's nobody's business.
And now we see just those 2 specials were able to create a little bit of room for them to take mid, but with that pick off the splash, Sanctuary is able to keep their dominance over them and able to establish just a good area, but Ricky gets taken out there. Rush community get the pick there, but 3 down on the side of Sanctuary, and they're gonna get forced to really move back here.
Yeah,
Soko knows that they're there, but they just can't get the pick.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one thing about an ink brush is an ink brush can be a nuisance if you know where it is. You still got to be able to approach it and deal something with that, and that is going to give the members of Sanctuary a lot of time to come off and respawn. As you can see, fights breaking out, but unfortunately, that is going to be now a delayed 2 members down on the side of Sanctuary. Here's the crab tank from Luna coming in, going over the plat, got some good damage there, and the zip caster comes in as well. That is a fantastic combo of the crab tank zip caster, and they do need a lot of clams here to take lead. They need to put a bunch in, and it's going to be, looks like 5th Gen, who is going to unfortunately get shot with the Inkjet. Swallow not going to be able to do it either, as the Inkjet coming in clutch from Silver is going to just stop Shadow Wizard Money Gang as they kill their penalty, and that is it.
Now their penalty is weakened, and they have even a better chance of taking the lead, so Sanctuary has to keep up this defense. They just have a minute to stall out them, and they have some specials at the ready to combat it. There comes that Will, trying to just separate them, try to just get rid of their line of fire. And we do see another Inkjet coming out there, trying to get him for another pick there. We do see Jen coming in there, getting picked off by the brush. And it looks like Sanctuary actually might be able to start a push here, but the crab does not want to let them here. And Shallow coming in here to try to finish, try to clean up there. They were almost able to push there, but Shallow coming in there made sure that they had the trip that they needed. And now with just 30 seconds remaining, and Shadow Wizard Money Gang has to use some kind of special to try to pick up as many as possible. And we do see the brush go down there, but 2 down on the side of Shadow Wizard Money Gang, and this is going to get really risky for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only one that is defending right now is 5th Gen. Now, what's good about Shadow Wizard Money Gang is they do have a power claim available, and they did just pick it up there. So this game is going to go into overtime. It is not going to end here. It literally is going to come down to this fight, but unfortunately, it seems like there is a member of Sanctuary up on the plat at the moment of Shadow Wizard Money Gang, and there's fights happening on both sides. Luna popping Crab Tank, unfortunately, is the one holding the power claim. I don't know if that was a smart decision, because I don't think they're going to have enough time. Sanctuary is just here for the push. 2 members are going to go down on Shadow Wizard Money Gang. The Whale's going to come out. They don't know Silver's in this corner, and that is going to be it. Ladies and gentlemen, Sanctuary is going to take it over Shadow Wizard Money Gang. 2-0, but a great performance from Shadow Wizard Money Gang against one of the veteran SAC teams itself.
What a great set. We saw how strong Shadow Wizard Money Gang was on those pushes and how much aggression that they had, but Sanctuary was able to stay on top with their excellent defense, just able to just persevere and take game 2 and they are gonna be moving on to, I believe, top 4. Now I'm right. I'm
yes,
right.
now you're right. Now you're right.
I'm right. I'm actually right this time. And they're gonna be moving on to the top 4 of SAC, and we just have 4 teams remaining, and only one of them will be crowned champions. So I believe we're gonna take a little bit of a break.
We are indeed. It seems like we are waiting on the other side of the bracket right now. We are waiting on the Frostbite, obviously moving into our top 4 on the other side of our top 16 bracket here. We are waiting on the result from SynRG versus the Flying Dutchmen. SynRG currently has a 1-0 lead, so we will be back with semifinals. But I believe, Matt, that is actually, for now, going to do it for you on stream. So thank you so much for coming on and commentating the SAC opener. It has been a blast.
We saw some great sets. I'm really happy to be here. You're able to see how strong these teams are and how determined they are to win. And you guys are gonna see more coming up from SAC soon with the last 4 remaining teams.
All right, and with that, we will see you guys in a few. Welcome back, everybody, to the SAC Season 7 opener. This is going to be our top 4 cut, and boy, oh boy, top cut has been something amazing so far, and we're going to have another amazing match. Of course, I am CAJman777, but please call me J-Man, joined once again for the rest of the tournament by another lovely commentary partner here, Toma, who was just finishing up LSL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did just come off of Mike at LSL, ready to come over here to see the great match that we've got going on for SAC. We got Frostbite versus SynRG, two really amazing teams that I am absolutely stoked to see fighting out here right now. And I believe we're in the top 4 now, right?
We are indeed, which means the matches are going to get more and more intense. And like I said, Toma, this has been a crazy top cut so far. Round 1, we had SynRG versus Rabid, a veteran SAC matchup, and SynRG taking the set win against Rabid, which was huge, knocking them out of the tournament. If you remember from last season, Rabid was the one who beat SynRG every game. This time, the tables were turned. Round 2, we went to the other side of the bracket and found another SAC team, a veteran SAC team, in the form of Sanctuary versus the Shadow Wizard Money Gang, who took a 2-0, but a very intense set. And now we're here, Toma, and this is SynRG on a tear right now.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like they're going to be coming off a lot of momentum from that win against Rabid, and they're going to be battling it out here on this first map, Inkblot Tower Control. Quite the classic, comp map mode here, returning from Splatoon 2. And let me tell you, I love the things that this map brings, and I love the plays that you can see here, especially up in bats. I literally just came off the map on our match at this exact map on LSL, where we saw some really cool zip casting tetras up into the bats of the opponent. So I'm super excited. It looks like we may be seeing the same exact thing happening from SynRG.
Yeah, we've been seeing the light tetra dualies actually a lot today in our bracket. It is just one of those weapons now, Toma, that is just absolutely devastating in the right hands. And X-Ray, unfortunately, is going to be the first to go down, so we're not going to be able to see that Zipcaster start early as SynRG looking for some quick picks, but the Inkjet immediately coming out on the side of Frostbite, and SynRG is just going to jump back. Crab Tank versus Inkjet here in the corner. See what happens. No, it doesn't look like too much is happening right now, but there's a pretty solid fight for mid happening. A lot of specials being traded back and forth. One down kind of on each side. No team really able to get momentum here. But as I say that, 2 members of Frostbite go down.
Yeah, SynRG really needs to take this opportunity to move forward and be able to break this first check. They were getting a lot of pressure there with that Inkzuka, and now these tri-strikes coming out onto the plat. They've got Sungura backed up there on that ball point all the way into bats, and this is exactly what you want to see, is that pressure there on bats. The ballpoint battle is going on, and 3 down now on Frostbite. SynRG is in a great position here, respected on that Inkjet. Also going to be pressuring Sungirl once again. X-Ray and Bab here going to be coming back in for the defense, though, on Frostbite, as this tower, though, is still just chugging on towards checkpoint 3. They really need to find that answer here fast, J-Man.
Yeah, and they are really struggling to. I mean, this 3rd checkpoint's gonna fall right now. Noob is still trying to push that checkpoint, and they are just gonna be able to break it. Half has been up on their plat. Like, multiple members of SynRG have been just rotating on and off the tower. And respect to Pop Inkjet, you saw that Half or Noob got on the tower, and they're just they're still going, Toma. And the Crab Tank for Crab. I mean, this is just a crazy fight that's been happening on the entire plat of Frostbite. Frostbite just cannot seem to break the aim of these players on SynRG.
They are definitely riding that wave right now of momentum forward. They're holding that plat so well, but Reborn getting a great pick there to try to break the hold, but it just doesn't look like it will be enough. And I lied. Just as it looked like it wasn't going to be enough, they're able to stop it. Frostbite able to stop the KO, and it looks like now they finally flushed out SynRG from their plat. Gonna be backing up here. You see Respect gonna be trying to go back up, maybe into that attic area to just try to recover from that push and get set back up in the right positions again. That really looks like it was about to be a knockout, and taken and saved by the break from Frostbite.
Yeah, that was oh my god, that was insane as we jump to X-Ray, who gets an immediate double zip caster just with the zip as the crab tank gets popped. And now SynRG looking like they're on the back foot, but they got enough specials to really not let the members of Frostbite break this checkpoint. And that inkjet shot will do it. It's now half looking to fight X-Ray, wins the 1v1 against the light Tetras. Splash versus Tetras in the Splash win. But yeah, Toma, I mean, that first push from SynRG nearly took half the game away, and that just seemed like it was going to be over there. But SynRG, you know, they just weren't able to quite close it out yet, and now it looks like they're looking to do it again, but I don't think they're going to be as successful this time, Toma, as it seems like Frostbite has done a better job regrouping for some picks here. Unfortunately, though, the wiper going down there is really going to prevent Frostbite from being able to stop SynRG again, as 3 are now down.
It was a really good job, too, protecting Half in their crab tank. Half has been taking such good fights here for SynRG and getting such great picks. You just have to look at the mechanics of these players, and it's just absolutely astounding. They're going to be over here with 2 down on SynRG. Half going to be kind of waiting here, seeing if they can take a right fight, and they are able to pick off one of the members there on the Splash. X-Ray going to be zipping into the bats there, but kind of just spotted out by 3 members of SynRG and going to be taken down in the zip. Just 1 minute remaining, and there is a lot of ground to go right now for Frostbite. They've got a lot of this purple control in mid, but they really need to find a way to break in, and they're gonna be trying to with those missiles coming out and with the X-Ray trying to go in, but being picked off. This inkjet from Respect is just putting in so much work on the defense.
I mean, it seems like anytime Frostbite is about to get something going, they send their wiper in, they send the light Tetras in, they are just not able to come out with any of the winning fights there. As once again, 3 members going down. The last one's going to be Reborn on the Splash, taking a 2v1, and is just not going to be able to do it. I think these members of Frostbite really have to learn that SynRG is going to be taking all their fights in 2v1 if possible. So the members of Frostbite are going to have to conserve their special uses as an Inkzuka comes out and just absolutely destroys Bab up there in that corner.
I am on the receiving end of that a lot as a backline myself. So I know exactly what it takes like to feel, or it feels like to take an Inkzuka to the face. But SynRG, wow, putting on such an impressive display of just explosive power there in the home of Frostbite, and that's going to be a well-deserved game 1 for them.
That game ended so quickly. I honestly didn't even look at the clock there to realize how much time was left. I mean, we knew that SynRG took like half the game to start, but man, Frostbite not able to break basically not even able to break the first checkpoint, which is just insane.
God, this is one of those maps where I expect larger pushes than that to come out from both sides. You know, this is the kind of map where you may see an overtime lead change on the plat of the enemy, you know? So seeing such a low scoring game on one side there really shows the dominance SynRG has right now, but it is definitely not over for Frostbite. They've made it here to top 4. They fought a lot of great teams along the way, showing their strength, and they're going to be battling it out here. I'm going to tell you on my personal favorite stage of all time, Marine Maker Undertow Spillway. I absolutely adore this map, J-Man.
I'm on certain modes I will agree with you. I think tower control on this mode is good. I think Rainmaker, I think Splatoon's on this map is terrible. I think it's so bad.
Yeah, agree with that. Rainmaker Undertow specifically is my pride and joy.
Yeah, this is always a fun map mode combination, and it does lead to some very interesting strategy. I mean, most of the time you are going to see the pushes from both these teams come out onto the left side, the right side of the enemy spawn. Essentially, that is usually the easiest checkpoint to break. Not often are you going to see pushes come out from your spawn to the right enemy checkpoint, and that because of that large uninkable. But however, that first checkpoint on the right side is technically the faster one to get to if you can get there to get an early checkpoint break before you decide to focus back on the back left side from your spawn. Now, playing a lot of the big run recently, Toma, on this, I have learned to hate low tide on Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. It feels like you're playing splat zones most of the time. But it looks like with this being what it is and one of your favorite map mode combinations, I mean, what are you expecting to see out of SynRG? Are we going to see some more of the same aggression, or how does Frostbite really How do they need to adapt to SynRG, I guess is the better question.
Definitely gotta be able to just realize when teams have overextended, you've gone into places, fights alone, and SynRG is doing a great job of trying not to do that, but I was actually about to talk about that. Is buckets coming out, I think, is a great choice on this map as well, because you can use that if you see somebody pushing up that glass, if you see them on the grates, you can take advantage of that. If they're alone, you don't have a lot of fire on you, that bucket has a lot of reach. It looks like Pose there on that. Also offers a great strike option to your team, and this is going to be really, really good for them. Frostbite, on the other hand, they don't have that slosher though, so they're going to have to make sure to really take their fights here carefully, make sure they're watching themselves, especially on the ledges, and there are a lot of those ledges to be watched here in Undertow Spillway, but right now it looks like they're making a pretty good path here for themselves and their color in getting a good pick onto Noob with that Rainmaker, but they've lost members now as soon as they have that Rainmaker picked up, and that is the hard part to do. Respect, once again, is I think another key point that they have to find an answer to, because those Inkjets coming out for them have really secured SynRG's defenses.
Yeah, and I love the fact that when Respect pops this Inkjet as well, you always see that there is someone on another member of SynRG backing up Respect, so Respect can get back to their jump point and go back to being the backline for SynRG just more effectively, and I think it's really so far been working for SynRG, considering they're on as much of a tear they are. The other thing I like with the SynRG coming out and bringing this bucket is their popping power on this Rainmaker is absolutely incredible with that bucket.
It absolutely is. Bucket is such a great weapon choice, I think. I enjoy seeing so many different teams trying it out and using it. And, especially like this, a map where you've got a lot of ledges here, Sturgeon, another great map for buckets as well. I love to see it coming out. But right now, SynRG going to be taking a pretty uncontested dunk here on the left side, really utilizing that 3-down advantage that they had, and now going to be trying to pop strikes, seeing if they can get any space forward, and Pose here on that bucket again, just taking a great advantage, trying to poke over those ledges. They're able to push it to 51, but are going to be forced to back out here, and now Frostbite really needs to move forward and claim a lot of this orange ink in front of them.
Yeah, I'm picking up the Rainmaker here if you're Frostbite. I think is a little bit of a questionable choice this early in the game. I mean, it's not super early in the game now, but it is. You have an opportunity to push, which is great, but I'd maybe want to take some more ground, because it seems like you haven't really been able to break SynRG's lines well enough to be confident with picking up that Rainmaker and going. But as I say that, it looks like Frostbite is finally starting to get some momentum as they're going to get the pick on the half, which should allow them to get the checkpoint, but not if Respect has anything to say about it. And Respect doesn't get one. Respect gets two there, one on the far end, and now it's just Sungura, who is just not in a good position at the moment, is going to have to back up and just keep their team alive, let some jumps come in, and at the moment, they really need to get some of the more picks here, Toma.
Yeah, Sungura backing up there. It's actually interesting to see Sungura here on this Carbon, because I believe, Sungura's actually on the Splash. I'm sorry, that is my bad. Safra on the Carbon, because usually Sungura plays more of a anchor role, if I'm not mistaken, for Frostbite. So they're kind of going to back up there, use that crab tanks as well, maybe to play a little bit more pseudo anchor while still having more forward aggression and pain. And now Frostbite again in that same kind of position as before, where they have members down. SynRG is on the respawn. They are going to opt to pick it up, but I kind of agree with you. You see this really kind of patchy orange going on. You see half here in this corner who they likely do not see going to be picking up that spot. And when you don't have those areas painted, that's just the kind of thing that you're going to face at times, and it's going to be really hard if you don't get that paint down. SynRG really making sure to punish that.
Yeah, and Respect's Inkjets, I mean, you're right, Toma. They absolutely do not have an answer to Respect's Inkjets. I'm pretty sure Respect got 3 there with the assist on the 4th, essentially causing a delayed wipe on the members of SynRG. And now SynRG's just going to be content to keep this Rainmaker up here on the snipe, essentially, and just fire Rainmaker shots up, because the only weapon that can really reach it confidently is going to be those Tetras with the Zipcaster, but unfortunately the Tetras are going down, so Half is just going to opt to sit there now, finally going to jump down with 40 seconds left, killing as much time as they can, and Reborn is going to go down, and X-Ray going to go into just a 3v1, and now Sapper, the last one alive, runs in kind of essentially just on their own again, Toma, and they're not Frostbite's not really working as a team against SynRG as much as I'd like to see there. frankly, they're feeding.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm seeing too here. And, you know, when they're in mid as far back as they were, it's not really necessary to push the Rainmaker so hard right there. When you're going down in 1v4s, it's not going to be aiding much to your team, and especially when the other team already had the lead and the Rainmaker wasn't close to scoring again. You have to be really careful with how you play, because now, because of that, they pushed the lead to 24, and Frostbite is going to be down a member's main weapon holding this Rainmaker, and they've still got to carve this way through mid. It is a very tall order for them right here at this moment, especially when you've got members like Pose here who can just kind of push forward, and, you know, SynRG can afford to play a little bit more recklessly now. Looking at how far back this Rainmaker is, and here comes Respect's Inkjet, gonna be trying to close this out. Sungura gonna be trying to dip and dodge there, but it's not gonna be enough. That Inkjet from Respect gonna be closing it out.
Unfortunately, Sungura just not having a good day there against Respect's Inkjet, and it just goes to show that SynRG's teamwork and the ability that they're able to rotate so quickly and so effectively onto different positions of the map and taking advantage of just the overextension of a lot of the members of Frostbite there. I understand you're playing Tetras and Carbon and you need to get a little bit aggressive, but there's a difference between playing aggressive and overextending, and I think that's a lesson Frostbite can take from this game today, being able to take those aggressive weapons and maybe combine them with a special or two to push an opponent out of an area, or maybe find a couple more crucial picks that they need to, and unfortunately they just weren't able to do that today.
Absolutely. And, you know, SynRG, like you said, a returning team into SAC. I got to see them last season, and not to discount their run last season, they've always been great players, but the way that they're playing off each other right now is just so incredible to watch. The fact that they're able to, you know, push past Rabid, push past the Flying Dutchmen, two really, really strong and established teams. SynRG is really trying to show themselves, improve themselves here in this SAC opener, especially since they're going to be now in finals, hoping to try to take that first place and get some points on the board for this season.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look. If we take a look at SynRG's past results, I mean, SAC Season 5, Qualifier 1, gold 3rd place, Qualifier 2, gold 3rd place, Qualifier 3, gold 2nd place, and then Qualifier 4 was silver 1st place. Last season, SynRG got 1st gold bracket in the 1st qualifier, 3rd gold bracket in the 2nd, 3rd silver in Qualifier 3. Our 3rd tournament was really weird last season. I don't know if you remember that, but there were so many teams that should have got gold but couldn't because it was literally that one game difference. And SynRG, I don't think they didn't really care too much about Qualifier 4 because their first 2 performances put them into the finals, and they played as well as they could in the finals. But you're right, Toma. This is a completely different SynRG from last season to this season. They are bouncing off each other so well.
It absolutely is, and they're going to be hoping to bring this first gold bracket once again when we're going to be going back to grand finals here very soon. SynRG versus Loaded Diaper. I'm definitely going to be so excited to see this match here, as they're going to be kind of just getting ready going in. I already noticed who Ali, now is this Ali from Data or is this Ali from Silly Kitties? I want to say it's Silly Kitties.
I want to say
it's
Silly Kitties. Yeah, I want to say it's Silly Kitties Alley as well, but I am not entirely sure myself. But of course, Toma, this is grand final. So as we get this settled, this is going to be best of 5.
Yes, it certainly is, and I'm so excited to see. The matches we just saw from SynRG were so impressive, and a Loaded Diaper coming here, the finals too. I know that we've got absolutely stacked bracket coming up here, and this is where we're going to be seeing counter picks coming out too. We're going to be starting on Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market, if I'm not mistaken, and then counter picking from there. So tell me, obviously winning here on Splat Zone's Hagglefish sets teams up in a good spot, because if they can just win their counter picks, they will win the set. So what do you think the keys are to winning this?
I think the keys are to winning this. I mean, first off, you have to 100% match SynRG's coordination. the ability for SynRG to rotate back and forth off of different positions, have Respect pop Inkjet, and still be able to jump back safely most, if not all of the time because of rotations is fantastic. It seems like SynRG, every time that Inkjet gets popped, there's another special, or there's someone else being aggressive on the members of SynRG. If you are on the side of Loaded Diaper, you have to match that aggression from SynRG. But of course, we are going to be going, as you said, Toma, to Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market, and I've also been told that, yes, it is indeed Ali from Silly Kitties as well. So that is something for us to note. So a very strong player right on the side of Loaded Diaper, just right off the bat, hearing they were formerly on Silly Kitties.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be seeing what they're going to bring to the table. You know, I'm not expecting too much of a comp change coming out of SynRG. It seems that what they were having was working very, very well for them. Ballpoint, of course, is always a strong pick on Hagglefish. You've got those really, really good inkjet spots you can get really high up in the sky if you're really using your elevation to your play there. So really it's going to matter what can the members of Loaded Diaper bring to the table. I'm not quite familiar with what weapons all of them play, so it's going to be a little bit of a wild card to me personally what they're going to be bringing to that table and seeing what answers that they have, because answering that ballpoint I think we saw was the biggest struggle that faced us last match.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can find a way to route Respect from their position, I think you are going to have a better chance. But again, as you said, Toma, there are some very powerful inkjet spots. You can inkjet up to basically up to the top of the two stacks that are in mid there, and you can just rain down fire from above. But you also have the safe position of Respect on that uninkable glass tent on the left side there. If you're approaching the enemy, if you're approaching your enemy's spawn, where Respect can sit there with a ballpoint and fire quite aggressively into zone if they chose to.
Yes, they sure can, and that's one of the. I am a big fan of this map as well, you know, and I've been trying out ballpoint on it myself, my team's anchor. You know, and ballpoint is still kind of a new weapon to me, but it functions so well on this map. It's able to reach zone. You can use that inkjet, like you said, on those two stacks and mid, really get a lot of space, and even though that it did receive some slight nerfs, it's still such a strong weapon to be contended with.
Yeah, and it seems like now we're at a point, especially with Sizzle season now in Splatoon 3 going on, where we're seeing Inkjet get used to a very strong potential, like where Inkjet was supposed to be. Do some people think it may be a little bit too powerful this season? I mean, only the rest of the SA season and a lot of tournaments will tell, but I personally think that Inkjet right now is definitely one of the stronger specials in the game. It's able to shut down a lot of other specials with the exception of Big Bubbler, man. That buff to Big Bubbler was absolutely huge and can provide a lot of protection against an Inkjet. And it's a very good defensive option, especially on a mode like Splat Zone, so I wouldn't be surprised maybe if a Big Bubbler came out to try and challenge Respect's control of the sky with that Inkjet. But the other weapon we're seeing, Toma, too, that comes out with Inkjet, we're seeing a lot of the Anarchy Nova, that Inkmine Inkjet farm that again pulls out Inkjet in 7 seconds or a little bit more. I mean, they are both very strong and prominent Inkjet weapons, at least right now in Sizzle season, and we've been seeing quite a lot of them in tournaments.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was actually going to if you had not, because if you told me, like, you know, this time last season that, you know, there was gonna be a Nova that you saw in the meta that you saw at top level, I probably would have been like, no, you're lying to me right now. Like, why would anybody play Nova? Like, it had its niche with, you know, point sensor, whale, not to discount that, but the power that it brings to the table now with being able to just bring all of these inkjets out is incredible. I've seen it played a lot. I've been seeing teams experimenting with it, and it really enables, especially a lot of faster paced teams where maybe if you don't want a ballpoint and you need to move a little bit farther forward, that Anarchy Nova can definitely take up a more aggressive position.
Yeah, it can. Anakin Nova does have that advantage over Ballpoint, while Ballpoint does, of course, have the continuous charge, and you can use short-range fire mode to play him a little more aggressive if you need to. I do think the Anakin Nova is a little bit better in that regard for playing that more aggressive style, and it looks like to counter the Ballpoint on the side of SynRG, we are going to be seeing an E-Leader come out on the side, as well as a 96 gal Deco and 2 splatter shots on the side of Loaded Diaper here.
You know, I'm really interested in seeing this 96 deco coming out too, because it's not a weapon that we really see a whole lot. Not a lot of people have really been able to unlock the full power of Kraken. You know, one of the few users that I feel like has been showing off Kraken recently is Twig from Secret Elixir. So I'm excited to see another 96 come out and see what it's going to be bringing to the table.
Yeah, it looks like early on we've seen a couple trades back and forth between these two teams. The zone has been traded once already, and it looks like it is going to go back into the favor of Loaded Diaper temporarily. And I love the position of Assist here, just being so aggressive. That pull is so nice if you are a charger. Not only does it offer you a little bit of protection, but it gives you a beautiful right side peek into that common angle on the side of Hagglefish Market there, and it just allows you to play incredibly far up, making it one of the most dangerous weapons. But unfortunately, Noob has something to say about that, and with the final shot of the Trizuka, will get that pick there. 2 members of Loaded Diaper will go down early, and it looks like SynRG is looking to retake the zone here.
They sure are, like you said. Assist there too, jumping back in, but taken out by that Inkjet. But that's definitely a key position they need to hold, especially if, you know, you have SynRG further back. If Respect is up on that uninkable, you need a charger forward to actually be able to contest them. But right now, SynRG doing a great job there holding. Respect does go down to a stray bomb, and it looks like it's Loaded Diaper's opportunity to retake zone here. Little time left on this penalty timer, so it looks like they may be able to extend their lead here some. But already you've got the special, that Inkzuka coming out from Noob, trying to clear some space, and it's still just kind of a one down on both sides. The crab being popped for SynRG up there. Zon trying to poke at it, but not so successfully before Respect comes in, takes it out for SynRG, and they're going to be already putting points on the board for themselves too, trying to take this lead back.
Yeah, and here comes, of course, the Inkjet from Respect, looking for a couple picks. Not going to be able to get it, though, as the 96 gal, with its perfect first 2-shot accuracy, just knocks Respect out of the sky. It is a no-fly zone, and I want players to I honestly want everybody to pay attention to Zon's usage of the Kraken here, because Zon is not necessarily going for splats as much as it is a threat immediately forward that the members of SynRG have to respect, and it allows the members of Loaded Diaper to push so far forward early on because they're worried about getting hit in the back with Zon's Kraken.
Yeah, it's really good too. And also just a few seconds ago, Vera's kind of off angle Trizuka there. I've seen both them and Noob get those to try to just clip the back lines or some unsuspecting members. Been working out well for them. The leader from Assist getting a great pick onto Respect as the Inkjet comes out. This is the kind of answer to Inkjet that these teams has needed, as Loaded Diaper going to be pushing past now into the teens, trying to hold on to this zone if they can. But SynRG storming forward, trying to do their best. Gets a pick on Pose before backing out, but that is the zone flip for SynRG, as they're going to be trying to break through now. That penalty timer worked through, but there's quite a bit of a road head. Claft going to be some sharking here for just a minute, seeing what kind of picks they can maybe pick up. They see Vera going in. They're going to be turning around, getting Ali there underneath the tent. But look, 2 down on each side, and the zone back in favor of Loaded Diaper. Now SynRG here on that side, you see half, you see Respect kind of bunched up, Noob over there as well. They're gonna have to try to make something happen. They do quite get it, but it's only a minute left in this match. They've really got to get the solid hold here and stop getting penalty put on them if they want to survive this. Loaded Diaper is done just such a good job at this entire match, really breaking back into these zones, as you see another flip happening in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, every time Respect, I've noticed as well, Toma, every time Respect has popped in this Inkjet, Respect has been shot immediately out of the sky. But now it looks like the members of SynRG have a 2-down situation with a little bit of an advantage at the moment, but they need to have a solid hold, but Pose is just not going to be able to hold it as now Zahn goes down and 2 members of SynRG are going to go down. I would expect the zone to flip again as now the last one goes down, and that Kraken is just out for blood right now looking to hunt, and they do end up finding Noob, unfortunately sitting behind the pillow as the zone flips with 20 seconds left, and the members of Loded Diaper are pushing up here. Assist is just in such a problematic position right now. You are SynRG. You have to try and do something with Assist as the tri-strikes are going to come out. But a beautiful, I don't know if that was a bomb up there or what that was, but it caught Respect and the bucket. And that is going to do it for game one. The members of SynRG just not going to be able to use that glass to make one final push. They were not even given an opportunity to make one.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was a beautiful Zuka from Vera up there to kind of secure that defense for Loded Diaper. And wow, J-Man, all the problems that were facing our previous team, Frostbite with SynRG, Loded Diaper just has the answer to every single one of them. SynRG had really good team fights there and really good reclaims and getting back out into mid, but really just setting up that hold was a struggle for them with Loded Diaper.
Yeah, it was, and I think part of it is because they're not the E-Leader. I think the E-Leader causes a little bit of hesitation sometimes in certain teams because you don't necessarily know where the E-Leader's laser is. A lot of high-level E-Leader players will hide their laser until the very last moment, or they'll aim it in one direction and flick it onto you, and you don't even see it coming. And I think the E-Leader, especially on a map like Splatoon's Hagglefish Market, can become a problem to players that are, you know, they can be relatively solid with Inkjet, but if the E-Leader has so much visual range, you have to deal with the E-Leader first while still trying to deal with the other frontline threats, and that can be very difficult, especially, as you said, Toma, if you can't get that hold. While the zones were going back and forth, it really did seem like SynRG struggled to keep that hold as SynRG's counterpick has come in, and it is going to be Rainmaker on Manta Maria.
Yes, it sure is, you know, and I think that is a pretty good counter pick for them as well. I think that this is a map specifically where that ballpoint really, really can shine. You've got grates for them to walk across, and I think that Inkjet is just so valuable in Manta. If you can pop that in bunker, get up and cause a lot of chaos in street or in that little perch right above street as well, you can really do a lot to clear a path forward for your Rainmaker holder.
Yeah, and I partially think that SynRG also picked this map because while there are some decent sniping angles on this map, especially if you are Assists, I honestly think that Inkjet here is a little bit stronger than a Charger, and part of the reason is because there is that upper section, there is that grates, there is that additional mobility, where a Charger just cannot sit confidently. The Charger cannot sit back as far on this map if they really want to break into mid, so it does make it a little bit more difficult for an E-Leader to do well here. And you do notice that Loded Diaper has actually opted to switch off the E-Leader, and Assist is now also playing ballpoint.
Yeah, and that's about what I expected to see happening here. I mean, no, like I said before in the stream, I'm the backline for my team, and I don't ever feel comfortable bringing a Charger here. There's not a good place really for it to stand comfortably, especially if the other team has a splat lane. So the choice to move to ballpoint, definitely the right one. But both ballpoints actually going to be down, and most of Loded Diaper actually going to be down. As SynRG takes the early 3 down, they're going to be taking the cut, it looks like, really fast to go ahead and get that fast break. They're going to be charging into street, but the strikes are coming out, so it looks like they are going to have to kind of back up from that pop so that they aren't caught in it. But they definitely want to try to keep up this pressure if they can, and Noob is going to be doing exactly that. Already got that Rainmaker in hand. Eyes are on Vera here in the street, getting that pig. They're already going to be dropping it down right there into that pit, and it's going to be an early KO for them. Wow.
Wow, that was fast. Wow. 1 3-down situation, and SynRG said, pick Manta immediately. There had to have been some confidence in that pick if you were SynRG, because that was not even nearly as close of a contest as we saw last game with the zone going back and forth. That was an absolutely dominating performance from SynRG, and it all stemmed from that first 3 down.
It sure did. They used that space so well. And, you know, at this level, I would expect teams to be very confident in their counter pick. They need to know exactly what it works for them, because you can't afford, especially just frankly in a best of 5, you can't afford to drop your counter picks. And SynRG is showing that they know theirs so well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Loaded Diaper does for a counter pick, though, because this is a team that we've seen a little bit of, Toma, in the last, last couple tournaments. We've started to see this team kind of come up on the rise in the, the more advanced scene, the more mid to high level scene. And it's crazy that we don't really know too much about them. So I'm interested to understand their mindset when we get the counter pick that comes in from them here.
Yeah, I definitely am too. And I think that they kind of want to go back to what they were doing in that Hagglefish Market game, and they want to make sure that they can kind of, whatever map they choose, they want to make sure it's one where they can get rid of that backline, where they can kind of push Respect out, get rid of them in those positions, because if they can use that leader, if they can outrange Respect or snipe down their inkjets, it shows how they were able to make those holds, how they were able to push forward on into the games. And that's going to be important, especially they're not going to be able to go back into zone, so it's not going to really be a hold map as much as it is they're going to have to be taking space off it. And with that, we do see the counter pick coming in. They're going to be going over to tower control, Inkblot, Art Academy, and I think that could definitely be a good one. That's kind of, we saw it last round. If you can push up into those bats, you can really move those back lines. You can give the ballpoint a very uncomfortable position if you're a bucket sloshing up, or you've popped a crab tank in the right place to pressure those bats. You can really move them, you can get them out of there, you can deny the inkjet its usage, and that's what they need to do.
Yeah, but I do wonder here, I also kind of wonder if this is a comfort pick for the members of Loaded Diaper, because I also feel like this is a very good pick or counter pick to see if your SynRG, sure, you do have a moving objective and you can put your E-leader or charger further back here to try and deal with Respect, who will most likely be riding the tower before they have their inkjet available. But we have seen already that Pose is not afraid on SynRG to play Slosher here, and Slosher can slosh up onto the plat relatively easily, and I think that's a strong point if you're SynRG.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think that this is such a good map for Slosher. I've said that about this. I've said it's a good map for all these maps that have just these ledges that can kind of be poked and prodded over. Same with rollers. I know we see that carbon roller coming out for them too. A great pick as well. But you got to be a little bit scared of this comp coming out with that bucket. These buckets are just so well done here. And SynRG definitely going to be trying to win this if they can. If you can take your opponent's counter pick, it's going to be a really strong starting place for them. Pose already there on that left side stack, trying to see what they can do there. But as a typical tower control game goes, they're going to just be kind of fighting it out here until they can find that space. Vera moved forward underneath that ledge to see if they can get a pick in the fight going on between Zon and the bucket there. Zon gonna be taking off 2 down on SynRG. This is gonna be Loaded Diaper's opportunity. They've got those strikes out. They want to go up to plat and deny SynRG that space up there. The Kraken dropping down, but doesn't quite find the picks, but sure does move them. You already see half a noob down there in a position they wouldn't normally be in. But ironically enough, it works out for them. They're able to get those picks, and that overall really didn't amount to a whole lot, as SynRG's already able to flip that very little lead. And it looks like they're going to be able to break checkpoint 1 here, getting off in time just for these strikes, and Respect now going in with that jet to really clear this space.
Yeah, and Respect finds 1, Respect finds 2 with the inkjet, but unfortunately Respect's jump is a little bit compromised there, as it looked like Vera on the carbon was sharking somewhere, and Vera finds 3, which is huge. Poe's gonna try and jump out and just barely gets out alive there. So a what could have been a devastating push coming out from SynRG actually gets saved by the carbon there, Toma. If you were the members of Loaded Diaper, and I agree, I think the Kraken early on, unfortunately, you heard me say uh-oh there. I think the Kraken pushed the members of SynRG into a bad situation, but I say that, and SynRG is now in a 3-down situation now, Noob being the last one, and they know where Noob is as well.
Yes, they definitely do. But look here, Vera here in this great position, ready to move forward underneath these ledges, exactly where they need to be, as Loaded Diaper is going to be able to break that second checkpoint. Vera using that Inkjet to just cause so much chaos, catches half as they drop down, and now that tower are going to be close to checkpoint 3. They're going to be trying to clear it, gets the pick on the noob, trying to pressure Respect as well. They're at that 3rd checkpoint, trying desperately to get the break, and they're going to be able to find it before that Inkjet recalls. Is going to die on their recall, but that is a great push for Loaded Diaper.
That is almost like the exact opposite of what we just saw with Power Control Inkblock earlier on in this tournament. And oddly enough, it was SynRG versus Rabid on that exact same setup. And instead of SynRG applying the pressure there, it was Loaded Diaper applying so much pressure there on that push, able to knock out all 3 checkpoints as Noob, unfortunately, is going to fall down there. That is going to slow down the push of SynRG a lot as now Pose goes down, and the triple strikes are going to force the rest of SynRG to back up there. Loaded Diaper just not giving SynRG any room. And Vera, it looks like, has become an absolute problem with this carbon around the corners.
Vera is doing such an amazing job. This carbon roller has really been dominating the pace of the game for this game specifically. You saw them up there in the bats, really just clearing the space before, and now just really finding the picks forward that they need to be able to. And they use these ledges so well to play off of. Finally going there down there to Noob. It looks like SynRG is going to be gaining a little bit of ground and momentum off of this, but they've got to get that tower going, and they've got to deal with the Kraken who's come up behind them. And, you know, can't kill the Kraken, gotta wait for it to end, so that's gonna burn a little bit more time off the clock. And if you're Loaded Diaper, that's all you need to do at this point in time, is burn time off this clock, and that's what they're trying to do. But SynRG already got those strikes in great positions. Noob is there trying to pick Assis there with the Zuka, but not quite able to. Assis here in the corner having to back up some, having to fight with that crab as SynRG is going to be increasing their score, going to be trying to break checkpoint 2 here, but they've got that jet out. They pick off Respect, they pick off half. Pose is there, gets picked off. That is the full wipe, J-Man, and this is so good for Loaded Diaper. Now they just have all this time to go claim mid.
That was such an amazing defense from Loaded Diaper there, and it looked like SynRG was at least going to be able to break that second checkpoint, and Toma, they were not able to do it at all. Respect just, it doesn't look like Respect's been having a very good game either. It seems like the mindset of Loaded Diaper is, I see Respect is the priority. I don't care if there's another shooter around. Respect has to go first as the 96 picks off Respect once again. And what's really scary if you're SynRG here is this game, even though you might be able to be pushing, this game's going to be over as soon as Zone gets that Kraken there, but they're not even going to need it. This game should end here as Kraken gets popped on the tower. SynRG's not going to be able to get on, and Loaded Diaper will take a 2-1 lead, 1 game away from winning our grand finals, Toma.
Oh my goodness, what an incredible match there too. And like you said, like they're really just focusing Respect there. And you know, and that's, I have to say, one of the things that can really set apart how teams perform, especially at this level of play, teams that can really identify those win conditions for themselves. And they've identified Respect as one of those. They know that, hey, if we can deny Respect, that takes away a lot of their momentum, because I think oftentimes teams can really get locked down at what's in front of them. It's like, I see a splash in front of me, it's gotta go, and you can lose picture, or lose, you know, the idea of the bigger picture. And right now, Loaded Diaper knows what they need to do to keep that momentum going. However, though, it's time for SynRG to counterpick, and we saw what happened on that Rainmaker Manta counter pick. Oh my goodness, my words are messing with me today, J-Man. And we saw how fast that went. If SynRG can confidently counterpick another map again, we may be into a very fast game 5.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see which mode SynRG chooses here. And I feel like the thing is, they cannot. I don't think they can pick Rain. Well, obviously they can't pick Rainmaker Manta again, but I don't know if they will opt to go for a Rainmaker pick here on a different map in our map pool, or if they're going to go for something that's more slow paced. I mean, we've seen SynRG likes to play aggressive at times with Respect holding down an anchor. So I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if we see another Rainmaker counter pick come out from SynRG. It would all depend on the map, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they can go back to Rainmaker
I'm
because
not
they
even sure,
just
guys.
won Rainmaker, so I think they actually do have to pick into a different mode.
I'm gonna
And
double
considering they've
check.
lost splat zones and tower control, we may potentially see them coming into maybe a clan blitz game. Potentially, I know you probably don't want to go into zones. They had a lot of trouble really holding that zone out, and I don't think they want to run into that similar issue. They could go back to TC. It did have its good moments, but I don't think you either want to go back into a TC mode you just lost on, but it's definitely a possibility, and it is going to be a possibility. They're going to be going back in TC Sturgeon or Shipyard, although for what it's worth, I think it's definitely going to be a map that favors their comp a lot more heavily.
Yeah, and I was wrong. I had to double check. You cannot counterpick a mode you've won on, so they weren't going to be able to play Rainmaker again anyway. My mind was jumbled up, and I thought, no, you can't pick the map you won on. No. It's not how it works. My mind was jumbled just as much as yours is today, Toma. It's been a fun day on commentary, and it's been a fun day at Help Desk for SAC for this first tournament of Season 7. We've been enjoying it nonetheless, though. It's nice to have SAC back once again for a brand new season. But Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard, Toma. I honestly think... Yeah, I do think this is a good pick from SynRG. I think, as you said, their comp does lean more into this map being a bit more comfortable for them. However, on the opposite end of things, you are going to have to worry about assists again. This is one of those maps where you can play a ballpoint, or you can potentially play a charger and be a problem. A lot of these top end graded areas are fantastic for charger points. They're fantastic for just splatling play in general. And so it's going to be a member of, can SynRG hold control of the pits of Loaded Diaper? And that is going to be the question here, because I honestly think both these teams will be able to break this first checkpoint. It's going to be a matter of, can they hold it long enough to break the second one? I think this game comes down to that second checkpoint.
Yep, it definitely probably is. Assist going to be sticking on that ballpoint, kind of what I was expecting. Again, kind of backline to backline instincts there. It's not my favorite leader map, mainly just because there's not as great places for right side peeking because of the way that one inkable part comes out to your left, actually, in your own base, where ballpoint has, a little bit more mobility on those grates, can move around a little bit better. Right now, they're going to be battling it out for tower. Have had that scrap out, respect up in a good position, but the strike are going to claim a lot of space for Loaded Diaper, and Vera getting a great pick there on the carbon roller as well. Going to be backing up, trying to get out a little bit safely, but they've got to find the space in the picks forward before they can actually push this tower. They've got it, but Pose is down here in Fight Club, gonna be trying to signal for their team to move forward with them as they go up and are looking for these picks on the tower. They've got to jump in there, maybe causing a little bit of a distraction, but 2 down already on SynRG. This is going to give Loaded Diaper their first opportunity to be making a break at this first checkpoint.
Yeah, and you gotta laugh at that as Poe's stuck in the Fight Club, nowhere to go, Toma, unfortunately, and now half wasting the crab tank. They're not going to be able to find too much value there. However, it will stop Loaded Diaper from at least breaking that first checkpoint. But this push isn't done yet, and something that I really think that Loaded Diaper has an advantage of, Vera, is the carbon roller on this map. This map is relatively enclosed, and as I say that, there's only one left. It is going to be the Kraken that does get popped. Zone just barely alive, does find one with Kraken, but Respect opting to go up the edge and used an inkjet just to stay alive there. Respect missed the jump there, had to waste their inkjet to stay alive, but at the moment SynRG has a solid position right now, where they're able to go 2 down, but Vera finds 2 on that right side there and was looking for a third. Does not get it though, as Noob is there for the backup, but it is 3 members of SynRG down at the moment, so Noob the last one left standing.
Yeah, and Noob gonna also be burning that Chizuka as the last person alive. So SynRG gonna be re-entering without any specials online since they just lost 3 members. The last one burned their special. But on the other hand, we've got this this strike ready. You've got that inkjet coming out as well as Loaded Diapers ready to clear this first checkpoint. They are able to break it, but are gonna have to back up from that crab tank, applying a lot of pressure. Getting the first break on that checkpoint is great. It's gonna allow them to go through there without pause once they're able to get some more people down again instead of having to stop. Now, on the other hand, our SynRG going to be forced to sit here and break this checkpoint. They do have the Inkjet online. They have strikes and a Zuka that can come out with it as well. And here come those strikes, going to be getting rid of any people trying to go up to snipe for that opportunity. They're going to be changing the lead here as well. Noob goes down as those strikes come out, figuring out Respect 2 and another member of SynRG. It's going to give Loded Diaper their opportunity, but half of this crab tank actually finds a splat and is able to keep the momentum going for SynRG. This is huge for them right now to be able to extend the lead here.
I honestly wondered, Toma, if there was going to have to be that moment where there was a play, and I think Half just did that play. That is a second checkpoint broken. Half staying alive with that crab is going to ball up just to get as many points as possible, and they're going to knock it out. We're going to a Game 5 Grand Final.
Oh my god, undeniably, Half made the play there that saved the game for SynRG. They were able to keep that push going off of that crab tank alone, and sometimes that's all it takes, J-Man, is just one play to come out, and that is the decider, and that is what's going to keep SynRG alive into this Game 5. But now it's Loded Diaper's turn to counterpick, and it's going to all come down to this. If they, like I said, Spot Zone Togglefish that first game, if you can win it, you just got to win your counterpick. So now the pressure is all on them to choose a stage that they know comfortably that they'll be able to take.
Right, but here's the thing, Toma. Loded Diaper won on zones, and they won on tower control. So they can no longer pick zones or tower control. They are forced to pick the mode they lost on in spectacular fashion in the Rainmaker game, or they are forced to go to a Clam Blitz game here. They do not have an opportunity to go for zones or tower control again. So this pick is extremely crucial for them, and we are going to be seeing a classic in Clam Blitz Mako Mart.
Yep, and that's about what I was expecting. There's no way you go back to Rainmaker after losing on Manta Maria like you did there. So the Clam Blitz makes sense. So now the real question here, are they gonna have that momentum going forward? Are they gonna be able to use it to be able to take the win here? Because Mako Mart is one of those games that can go pretty fast. You don't have a lot of space in between basket to basket. So every single wipe, every single player down matters that much more. So these fights are going to be really intense, and the outcomes of them are going to matter more than ever.
Yeah, and the thing is with Clam Blitz, especially at a higher level play, is the coordination on display at higher level play for Clam Blitz is incredible. But Clam Blitz is the most coordinated mode in Splatoon, just in general. So you want to make sure that your coordination is confidently better than the other team. And I honestly won't be surprised here if we do see Vera still on the carbon roller here, and we are going to. They're going to be foregoing the ball point here, but Respect will be remaining on the ball point. So Loded Diaper going for a more aggressive style composition, where on the side of Pose, it looks like we have the Tri Nouveau coming out.
I love to see that pick, and just like the carbon is good here, I think Tri is great here as well. We're poking around these ledges and up on these stacks, and that's going to be a key. Controlling those stacks is going to be huge for maintaining your clam economy, for maintaining control of the map as well. But right now the fight's going out. Assist getting a pick on Pose. Vera going to be trying to poke up there at Noob, but Respect going to be taking them down right now 1-1. But look at this, Loded Diaper, it's a 3-down situation now. It looked like it was going to be going pretty yellow pretty fast, but oh my god, the way things can flip so fast. And Respect there going to be going in. They've got the basket break for SynRG. Now Respect going to be trying to add some extra clams. It gets taken down, 3 down, just Noob left up. And this is where they've got to be careful, because with just Noob up, look how fast this map is changing to yellow. But it didn't take any time for Loded Diaper to get across here. Now you got Vera there on that carbon, or on the Zuka, trying to find some picks. Not quite able to find anything, but look here. They're going to be able to throw that in if they can just get forward, and they only need one clam. It was one of those one and done kind of pushes, and those can fall apart pretty fast. The Kraken's going to break in to charge the way forward, but doesn't quite find the pick on the person they need to. Noob has to come back around for it. They are eventually able to find it, and now they're just having trouble here. That Tri-Slosher giving them a lot of issues here as they're trying to move it across this right-hand stack, but just aren't able to find the space that they need quite yet to get it through. The Tri-Slosh eventually going down, but now you got to deal with the Zook, or the Inkjet coming out out as well. But Vera here making a very sneaky play, trying to go up under here, under the basket. They're going to be adding that clam to take the lead. They've got that Zuka out now to try to find some extra picks as well. Oh my gosh, J-Man, just a lot is going on here as they're able to push this the way to 53 in that one push.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot happening in that push. It did seem like for a minute there that Loded Diaper was not going to be able to capitalize on it, and Pose finally winning a fight on the stack. Now it's 2 down on the side of Loded Diaper here, and it looks like the members of SynRG are looking for a push. Vera, however, is going to be a problem. Vera's still not dead. Takes out Respect. That's a big loss if you're SynRG right now. You're not going to have your anchor, and you really don't have it. You don't have enough clams actually right now. They don't have a ball besides the one back at basket right now, so they're going to have to optimize another push here, and they're not going to be able to, as while the ball is made from half, the Zuka comes out, hits the crab tank, and they're not really going to get too much done right now, as it looks like Half is trying to fight Vera with the carbon. Vera's stuck on the wall of the stack there. They're not going to be able to move, as it's a 3v1 in that situation, and this map right now is going back and forth. Hopefully these triple strikes can take something in, but now Pose on the left side is going to lose a 2v1 fight, and now if you're SynRG, you're starting to wonder, okay, we did not break them how we wanted to, and it looks like they're pushing Respect. And I think the members of SynRG are starting to realize it too, that they're targeting Respect more so than anything. So if Respect gives a quick call out, hey, I'm being pushed, I feel like a lot of the members of SynRG are rotating over, but I also feel like Loded Diaper can take that to their advantage when the time comes.
They sure are, but now you've got this Kraken coming in again, trying to clear some space, but not quite able to do so. And just look how much yellow is currently on this map for Loded Diaper. The fights are coming out. SynRG is doing their best, but look at your Vera up there in that corner, picking off Noob, trying to pick off Half as well before eventually going down. But they're creating space. Pose taking down the Clam, but you're going to see assist there. Pick it up and finish the job there that they had started. Going to be killing some time here on flat with their crab tank. Not quite able to do much with it besides stall, but that's going to just kill some time off the clock. Just a minute left, but now here's where it matters. 3 down. This could be huge. 2 power clams go in. That's going to be the lead change, and now 3 down on Loded Diaper. This is SynRG's opportunity to make a really good lead.
Yeah, and they are going to get it all the way down to 29, Toma, but this game is far from over. 50 seconds left. If Loded Diaper's smart, they might grab this power clam, or they might opt to wait, and it looks like all 4 are in mid, so they're going to opt to wait to grab that power clam, so they're not going to get that extra one to make this push count even more. So it is going to come down to the fact that someone might have to rotate back and get that power clam and push themselves out of position, but they're going to have to make a clam in mid if they don't want that to happen. And right now, there is a lot of yellow on this map as the Kraken Crab Tank combo is going to come in. Pose is going to win that fight on that Crab Tank, though, and 2 members of Loded Diaper are going to go down in the process, so that is really not good if you're Loded Diaper. They do have the clam, but unfortunately, they both get picked by the Inkzuka plus Respect's Inkjet. I think Respect might know that there's someone up there on that ledge, though.
Yep, they sure do, but with this game counting down now, you have to make the move now more than ever if you are Loded Diaper. The Zuka coming out, you have 2 down on SynRG, you need to get this forward and fast, but the Crab Tank coming out, gonna make that difficult. Vera there, Ali going in, gonna be throwing, they find the basket break, but they need to get the clams forward. It's just the 96 left alive. They are here, but they aren't gonna be able to really get much space in here. They're gonna try to throw a clam, but they're going down there to Respect, and that is going to be the game. That is going to be your tournament. SynRG going to be taking that 3-2 in a really, really heated game 5.
Absolutely. What an incredible set that was between these 2 teams. I mean, one couple of these, they felt like that Splat Zones game was greatly in Loded Diaper's favor. That Rainmaker game, absolutely in SynRG's favor. But after that, the game started closer and closer in the culmination of that game 5. I wondered if the members of Loded Diaper were maybe thinking of grabbing that clam at some point, though, Toma, at the end, because if they got that power clam in, that was lead. It was 46 to 29. They got that in. That score was dropping to 26, and they would have taken lead off of it. They just were not able to stay alive long enough to get that second clam, or even just other clams in on the map, and SynRG took advantage.
Absolutely, and sometimes that's all it comes down to. It's the one, decision that happens that can cause the game to go in a different way. We saw that happen in the previous game on SynRG's side with half on that crab tank. You know, not grabbing the power clam there again is just, it could have been the game-changing decision. You know, you don't know for sure. You know, anything could have happened. They could have turned around to get it and then died with it. You never know what's gonna go on. So I understand that, you know, maybe teams' hesitancy, it's kind of their safeguard. You know, if something bad happens, we've got that pity there to be able to at least guarantee an overtime for us to happen. So it's just one of those really tricky situations where you have to make a judgment call. It just doesn't always end up exactly like you want it. But huge congratulations to SynRG. That was a well-deserved win, and that's going to be a great place for them to be starting out this season on the scoreboard.
Yes, it will. Another gold win on the board for SynRG. This is their, I mean, that's in the last qualifier last season. They took first in gold bracket. So they did it again here for this season. I'm really excited to see both of these teams continue forward with the next SAC Season 7. This has been an absolutely amazing opening tournament. There's a lot of new and old talent once again on display here in this circuit, and you absolutely love to see it. You know, as the storylines develop throughout the season, that is going to be just so fun to see. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Toma, SAC Tournament 2 is going to be coming around in 2 weeks on June 24th, so I'm excited to see how the storylines continue from there. But congratulations to SynRG. What an amazing grand final. And Toma, thank you so much for jumping from LSL to SAC for commentary today.
Oh, absolutely. It's been such a joy. And, you know, before we sign off, J-Man, where can the good people of the stream find you?
You can find me on all social medias, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at CAJman777. I do a lot of various content. I'd like to, you know, I'm the staff here over on the IPL scene, so I do a lot of tournaments. I want to get back on the mic a little bit more than just SAC, so maybe you'll hear me on a Proving Grounds or an LSL sometime as well. I'm looking forward to just having a good time, because that's what Splatoon is. That's what Splatoon is and SAC is to me. It's just a good time, and I enjoy the work I do with it.
Oh, absolutely. And I've had a great time here with you as well. And you can find me at Crestagatier on Twitter, here at Twitch at twitch.tv/Toma_. And a huge thanks to everybody today that made this tournament possible. Our lovely teams, our lovely TOs for putting everything together for this awesome qualifier. And we will see you all back in 2 weeks for SAC Qualifier 2.